But that's a constant daily calculation of what you can afford, and this should be no different, and that's where you wanna recognize value and talent, but you don't wanna go too far to where your payroll starts to become a massive anchor, you know, and that's just something to, and I think.
And you have to, you have to look at it also, what you just stated about health insurance increase. 18 to 20% increase.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
That's
and I provided that too not that long ago, what it costs to have a full-time employee, right? You're
yeah.
talking $50,000 just in benefits alone on top of the salary,
Your
so.
retirement matches and stuff,
Yeah.
yeah, alright, and I think we do a good job with that, so that's
Yeah.
something to consider with the salaries too, like, I think we've gotten to that point where we weren't so far behind, we always had to do something positive, we could get to a point where we can meter it, we can be positive, but the whole point of this process was to actually weigh in on individuals fairly,
Right.
versus before, when it was just like, well, whoever came and asked, and whatever they asked for, and then they'd ask for $5,000, you'd give them 3,000, and it didn't, what did that even mean?
Yeah.
Was that an hourly increase, was that, you know, I mean, were they doing, like, and then like you said, you had some departments where these people were making 10-15% more than a deputy in a similar office, because that department wasn't as good as advocating as this one was, and that's not what you want,
Right.
so. That's, I mean, just the overall conversation is we've made great strides, I think we're in a very good position.
It's changed
We need
a lot
to-
just in the last.
Oh yeah, it's made huge strides, and since I've been here over the last 8 years, we've done a lot better. And I look at other counties sometimes and what they offer for positions, and we're very competitive. In some areas, we're even higher, but that's okay, we don't always have to be the lowest county all the time either, like,
Right.
then you run into problems where you can't get people either, so,
You gotta look at some of these counties, the volume that they're dealing with.
yeah.
And nothing saying that we don't have volume, but it's a different deal. Like you take Morton Burley, that's a different ballgame.
Well, and it's tough here, you know, like the last deputy that Gary hired.
Yeah.
He didn't leave because he didn't like the job and that he didn't like the pay. His wife didn't wanna move to Emmons County. And
Yeah.
That's Gary's deal, you know, he said, that's the problem, you know, you can find a deputy or male or female that wants to work, but their spouse is gonna need a job there too. And,
Well, and we have a big problem is our proximity to Bismarck.
yeah,
How many people commute from this county?
yeah,
over to
we're a
Bismarck?
little too
Like,
close.
Right, I mean, you become a little bit of a vacuum to the bigger area, and so that does make it difficult, and, I mean, the other thing too is not everybody wants the rural life, some people wanna live in a city, and that's where, like, we're not very attractive to some people.
No.
It's just the way it is, you know?
And I've mentioned, maybe we do need to look at possible bonuses for licensed deputies, just to try to get us back up one guy that's licensed or two guys that might be licensed, cause the problem is he's just not getting applicants of guys that are licensed. And you're talking a year, if you're lucky to have somebody that you can cut free and you can trust 100%, you know, so.
Well, bonus incentives it must be a semi-successful pattern, because hospitals offer it with
Oh, yeah.
nurses, and
Yeah.
like, it's not like it's an unheard of or unreasonable thing, usually it comes with some kind of contract to fulfill for
Yeah.
3 years, 5 years,
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
that. So, I mean, it's definitely something to consider.
I asked him to check out with her, you know, cause I'd mentioned it to you, Aaron, and you said something about, you know, you'd seen it in the oil counties, and he has some sheriffs that he communicates almost daily with, so he was gonna check to see if there was any success, to see if it was even something worth bringing up, but it is something to think about, because we're to that point where we need to start considering options.
You look at this, what's gonna happen, Gary retires, that's why I had to say, you're gonna consider deputy status, I mean, chuckle.
I've sat in his office and asked him that same question, you know, believe me.
Yeah, and it's just something that's, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Vargas gets it or Bartlett, yeah,
Gonna
neither
keep
one
your
might
people.
not stay here.
yeah.
If I was a retiring sheriff, knowing what I know, I'd be more like Batman. I'd just like do it at night and do it. I wouldn't wanna be out in the public yet, I'd tell everybody I was retired, then I'd go and just tie people up.
Well, I make a motion to
Maybe we should
recess.
suggest-
Okay, is there a second to the recess? Second by Miller. See you at noon hour at 1 o'clock,
Come back at 1?
yeah. You gotta go downstairs and support them? Well, they got a sandwich downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, recess for lunch.
See you at 1, guys. We're on. Russ, or bring up, you wanna speak? Chad, you wanna speak first or what?
Oh, John is here for the cattail bee thing, that's first on the list.
Go ahead, John, come on up.
do
Should I give it? Good afternoon, commissioners.
that. Hi, John.
Hey, John.
I'm just here regarding the Cattail Bay, Road Cement Stabilization and Graveling Project. The bid opening was yesterday. We received 2 bids for it. One was from Knife River Materials and one was from Williams Excavation, both out of Minnesota. Knife River Materials, their bid was approximately $1,040,000. Williams Excavation, their bid was $740,000 approximately. The engineer's estimate was $775,000. So Williams is about $35,000 under the engineer's estimate. Just kind of talking with them, they have done this kind of project before. Currently, they're working with the North Dakota DOT Devils Lake District on a project. I'm not sure what it entails, but it sounds like they're pretty well aware of what this would take to do this.
And they can get this done this year, that's.
Yeah, it's unfortunately, it sounds like they would do it later in the year. But
As
they
long as
can,
it doesn't interfere with our bail hours.
well, the completion date is October, I think 16th.
Well, they'll be done lifting sponge by then. Oh, yeah. Huh? Sponge will lift long before October 5th.
Borderline.
Huh?
It might be on the tail end of it.
Well,
Yeah, so they could start maybe mid-September and it could take a couple weeks to get it completed.
Well, the good thing is though, the traffic should be down there if they get this facility down here done. That I talked to Jesse Johnner yesterday at a funeral and he said, man, they're flying down there, it's cooking, I wanna drive down there and take a peek, but, he says they're on track for now, so.
Well, the other thing too is there is that detour around, what is that, is it 10th Avenue? Or something, the one, you know, instead of going there, you can go up north a little
Yep.
bit, and I think when we've done stuff there before,
they've done.
we've kind of bladed that up a little bit nicer than usual to try and, you know, so we could probably relieve some, I mean, at some point, there's gonna be some labor pains with this thing, like,
They can go up there.
You know, I mean, the-
Robbinsburg to the west.
the best time to harvest potatoes is also the best time to build
They
roads.
can go past, well, they gotta go, you know, like Kingo, but that's not a very good road either.
Which one?
Where you gotta go through someone's yard.
Rudy's there?
Yeah,
I mean, I think we'd be fools not
You
to.
can't
Because
do it.
we've been-
no, that's through his yard.
We're lucky enough to have gotten there that good this late. I mean, we've been talking about this for how long, we've got money, we
Yeah.
don't really wanna
Well, and
lose.
I don't
No,
think,
I
I don't
don't.
think you're gonna get an argument from anybody down there, I mean, I can just tell you, like, more than likely, if Seaview's finding out they're getting delayed because the road's gonna improve, they'll figure out a workaround.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's on board with getting that road in better shape.
Well, and I think if we just let them know in advance that,
Yeah.
you know, this is gonna probably happen during harvest a little bit, and we'll try to work with you and do what we can on our end, and you're gonna have to just kind of maybe start out there early before they get there, or whatever, I mean, I know it's not like that, like it's not like corn where you can leave it in the field for a whole year and go back but they can start here and move there a little bit, so.
Well, I think with some coordination, you'd be able to get it.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay with it.
How long do you think this will take?
It could take, I don't know, by the time you do the cement and the gravel, it could take a couple weeks. But that doesn't account for Russ's time to build up the road,
Yeah.
prior to,
And all good weather.
what's that?
And all good weather, as a friend.
Does that all have to be, does your building up part have to be coordinated real close to these, or can you be doing that now, or whenever you?
We could be doing it now, we could be starting on it for the most part. The problem is too, as of with last week's agenda
Yeah,
or stuff that happened, we're
sure.
not on the plus side of things, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, so.
But I mean, even if we had to wait a month, or, I mean, you can do it whenever. Whenever you feel like you've got the manpower to get going on it, it doesn't have to worry about,
Right.
you know, a month in advance that they're coming, and then that's when it's gotta be done, it can be done.
Sounds easy talking in theory.
Yeah, that-
Well, everything sounds easy talking in theory, but my point is,
right.
they're not tied together is my point. If he gets, if things come together and and
But
he's
you
got a
start-
man or whatever, he can work on it.
You start hauling clay in there, that road is not gonna be used if you get rain.
Not if you get rain.
No. No.
No, so,
Yeah, you can't do it too far ahead.
No.
and it won't take much rain to
No.
make it,
No,
with clear clay on there, so.
You'll be.
Well, and right now, the way we stand, further down the road is probably better than it is right now anyway, so it doesn't really, it's probably will work out better for you. As long as nothing
It
else
has to get
happens.
done by the end of this year.
Yeah, October 16th, yep. And that's, yeah, so that you would get reimbursed from the state for that 300,000.
So then, Russ, you gotta pull guys off, huh?
We're gonna need a better part of the crew to make it all come together that fast, you know, you're gonna have to have everything you can running to get it all done, so we are ready for them guys when they get here.
Well, that's gonna make some people scream, but I can tell you, we really can't afford to add $300,000 or $400,000 more to find the guys to do this. And we kinda gotta use some of our own labor.
Most of them are already screaming, so I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean,
I had invitations this past weekend to get them out there.
yeah, that's what I mean, like, it's, at some point, it's no different than the chip sealing project in Linton here. You're just gonna have to power through it until it's done, and then it'll be fine. But it's gonna be a little inconvenient while it's happening, there's gonna be some spots you can't drive. And that's
They
just-
drive and walk now, they're happy it's done.
Yeah, so you're just gonna have to do it and get it done, so. I mean, are you fine with Williams Excavation? You feel like they passed your vetting, like the?
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much I can do, but,
Right, but I'm just
obviously
saying,
there's a
like,
set of plans and specs they have to follow.
Yeah.
We have to hold them to it, so they should be able to do
there's
it.
not, they're not a landscaping company trying to scale on this job?
Not that I,
Okay, that's my question, like, if there's somebody that at least, like, if they're working with the DOT out of Devil's Lake, hopefully they've at least, you know, completed a couple projects, probably, or. Sometimes people being the low bid's not a good thing either, I mean, they don't have a clue what they're doing, so. I guess I would make the motion to accept William Excavation's, bid for $740,454.26 on the Cattail Bay Road.
and could I
Okay, there's a
add
motion.
on to that, to authorize the county officials to sign the construction contract at that time?
Yeah, so I'll make the motion to approve the Williams excavation bid and to empower the county officials to make all necessary signatures.
Is there a second to Aaron's motion? Second. Mr. Miller? All in favor, or any more discussion in regards to it? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I did. There is, it's not finalized yet, but the gravel for it, they were talking about getting it out of that Vanderhorst pit,
Yep.
if they could get a crusher in there. And then obviously we have a PI spec on that gravel, so they'd have to meet that gradation and get the PIs. So if they do that, I mean, there's maybe the potential the county wants to put up additional material.
Oh, so you got them there anyway.
Well, I thought that contract's expired, isn't it there? With Vanderbilt.
No, it was a 10-year contract, so it's nearing the end, but you could renew it if you crush again. I mean, the question is do you wanna crush down there?
If we can get the specs right,
So they add
But is it-
clay to it, huh?
Is it still a convenient location to have gravel though?
you know, if we take it away, then there's nothing out in that area, so
Fair enough.
I guess,
Nothing, there's nothing west at all.
You haven't entertained that deal up north, have you?
no, we haven't
On
had time to.
87, 83?
There's multiple places to check, but this would be, like John said, this would be a chance to make it better.
Usable.
Yeah, that would be,
There's that much gravel there to mine?
I don't know he would use the existing gravel, right, and just add the PI to it.
No, well, they can't use your gravel, but they'd have to crush more gravel, mine more, and put up another stockpile.
Okay, and they must have talked with Mark or
Yeah,
something.
this is all preliminary, so that's their goal.
yeah, if we can do more, why not do more down there?
Well, I guess the other thing too is if you found clay to build this road up, you theoretically could use that clay to haul in, cause that's what that gravel's been missing.
That's
Historically
what it
was the binder.
Right.
There was plenty of
It
rock and
needs
sand.
clay. Yeah.
So if you are hauling, if you have a borrow pit that's feasible. I mean, you're literally hauling to that same area already, going another, quarter mile, half mile into the pit. It just would depend, I mean, if you're gonna crush 100,000 yards, you're gonna need a lot of clay though, so I mean, it depends how much you even wanna crush, so.
I don't know, I mean, this is kind of new information, but I don't know what Mark has left, if,
Yeah, that
what
would
kind
be,
of on it,
I don't know for sure either, because I kinda feel like the reason there was such a big pile is because most of it got, I mean, it kind of,
Finished.
kinda like wool bombs at the end, the reason why I put up such a big pile is like, they came in, they want it all done, so then just
Yeah.
put it all up, but that doesn't mean there isn't some,
So what class is that gravel out there as of now? On the Vandevorst pit?
I guess I don't know.
It's classless.
it's a poorly graded class
And
13.
what class do you need of that?
it should be class 13, but there's a variety of, when you have class 13, you got a low and a high, it falls into that category. And sometimes if you're using it for a specific project, you wanna put it to the high side or to the low side to meet them specs, if that kind of makes sense, This is something that they would check into, I'm assuming?
Yeah, it's all something they have to take care of.
Okay,
I'm just throwing out the option, if they do happen to take out of there, get a crusher in there, maybe the county could contact them on the side to do
That's a
another
good
pile
idea.
or
I
something.
think that's a good idea.
That's generally how we've gotten most of our crushing done, is somebody's crushing for something else, and
Yeah.
then since they're there, they come to us for, trying to pull another 20-30,000 out, and then it adds feasibility to your project, but, so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's something to consider,
Yeah.
For sure.
but you're gonna have to haul material down there, that's just a non-negotiable, otherwise you're gonna end up with another pile of
Another-
disappointing gravel, right?
No, I think it would make sense to make good class 13.
Well, I know it worked at the Knoll pit, that was the one, that was like the only pit where we literally like brought material from another site to make it work, and adding that rock. We spent like an extra 30,000, but when you figure the per yard basis and then what it's worth, it was worth it.
Yeah.
okay,
So you're gonna contact them, right, John?
Yeah, I'll get the contract stuff going here.
Okay.
I'll be contacting Marcus. I've got some stuff I'll just drop at your office on your desk.
Okay,
Just the notice of award,
okay.
so. I think that's all I had.
Okay,
All right, John.
thanks, John.
Thank
Thank you.
thanks.
Got a message from Clint there, he's on it, and they're gonna remedy this.
This deal that's going on.
Yeah.
You just
Immediately, he
talked.
said.
Next item, Chad Vandevorst, land access in section 29, township 130, range 77. This deal, Chad, is that right there by the old Barney Vanderwall place?
Yeah.
Going on the north side of his place, west? Yep.
Well, you actually go right into by the farm, right?
You go through the farm and they're half a mile past the farm.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys for setting a little time aside for me a second. I won't take much of it. The highlighted areas is the two fields I can't access, which adds up to just about 160 acres. That one there and that one there. Before, we had one big field, but that quarter got sold on us, so we were accessing the other two fields from that quarter.
Oh, you crossed the creek.
Yeah, we crossed the fence to get at that south half of that other piece there at Rhodes. So now I have access to none of them. We did put a temporary in by the creek to the north there. Yeah, over on the section line itself, right there.
There,
We just put a temporary in last week just so I get in there and spray for the first time. We drug a drill through the south side and left ruts as deep as these. And we did get it seeded. But now for harvest, I don't know how we're gonna get them out after that. So. I didn't
that's
know.
a steep ravine.
It's not real steep, it's just wet, there's of course, that dam right there, And then there's springs up from that dam to the right. And that's
So-
all flows through there, through that temporary. And if you go to the south, that dam right there, there's actually springs started in that field too, on the quarter, right below the hand there. So it's really difficult. We even tried to look at places where we could go into the pasture, but that's steep, that's just not possible.
You've been out on site, Russ?
I have, yeah.
You were down there too, right, Jim?
Well, close, I was by the boat there, I
Yeah, you just gotta
didn't
peek
go
over
there.
the hill right there, yeah.
Yeah,
I think the best would be to, from the south, to be honest with you, it would be the simplest. If you zoom in, right,
I thought this spot was by the old Beekman
out of
place.
it. It's right to the right of that dam, see that dugout right there? Yeah, just zoom in right there.
yeah, I don't.
And it's dry all the way down to that low spot, and that's the only wet spot, it's just right in that low spot. Cause if you go to the north, there's actually two spots. So I made it work with the sprayer, but I actually, there's another spot right here. So from the north, there's two spots. One from the south seems like the simplest. Now, I do have a surveyor coming in, it should be done by the end of the month, this month. Just to
See
make
where-
sure, you know,
See
lines
where
are,
the line is.
yeah. And that's not cheap either to get done.
No,
No. And we don't have any arguments about anything there, I just wanna make sure we know where everything's at. So I didn't know if there was a path going forward, if there was any help or anything possible.
any history, Gary?
Well, I mean, I guess the question is you're looking at utilizing the section line to access this land, and you need to get some kind of like a road built in there?
Yeah, well, at least in that one spot, right where the
Where you
cursor
cross
goes.
the.
Where that dam is at?
Yeah, right to the right of that dam. That's the section line right there, where he's at.
Look at that dam be pushed shut.
That dam there.
That dam is right there,
That's in the pasture though, isn't it?
That's in the pasture. We could open that up and lower it, but I don't think that's gonna alleviate the problem with the springs to the right. To the east side that are still running into there.
He's looking at putting a road on the blue line,
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
in the green there,
Right.
right on the blue line, right there from basically the first, eighth of a mile was good, right on top there, roughly.
Yeah,
Give or
yeah.
take, and then it goes over a
right
hill
from there to there.
down into a ravine, and that's where he's having trouble, cause it's wet all the time,
It's literally probably what, 100 yards?
give or take, something like that, yeah. And he would need, there'd have to be a culvert put in, and then probably, I don't know if we'd have to haul material.
Is there material there to be had?
Well, we could take some off the pasture if we have to, right there on top of that hill.
That'd be the benefit if you got up high, a spot you
Yeah.
can take clay from.
Got right at the end of that field, between the blue line and the end of that field.
Yeah, that would help, you don't have to go.
You don't have to haul it for 7, 8, 10 miles.
You're doing this work yourself then?
Hmm.
You're doing this work yourself,
On the other end we just did that one, yeah.
but you're going, if you did this,
But this here, I don't have the equipment probably to move that kind of dirt, I don't think. I was good with the scraper maybe, but I've never run a scraper.
Well, how much fill lift do you think you need, Chad, in that spot? You have any idea, guys?
I suppose you guys are gonna have to go up at least 5 feet on top of a culvert, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's gonna
I
depend
see a
on
little bit better there.
how soft everything is there too, you know, if it's gonna keep pushing in on you and pushing away, it's gonna take more material, so.
That isn't a bad
It's in
spot.
a bad spot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, in a situation like this, basically, I mean, the commissioners would, you know, grant approval for you to improve the section line, and then you could just improve it the way you see fit. I don't know if the commission wants to endorse the idea of building a piece of road, or especially, I mean, just to get to a field or two, because there's plenty of roads that need to get built to get to fields otherwise.
Gotta start something.
too. I mean, most of the guys that are doing it, they come in for permission and then they take out some rock piles and move some fences or, you know, I mean, cut down some trees and
Do you need some rocks?
put some level gravel down on it basically and put a culvert in or something.
We have rocks, but not right there.
Yeah.
That's the problem with one to the north, that temporary we built, there's another one right below it. There's just springs opening up everywhere.
That's all over,
Yeah,
all over this county.
Yeah.
I gotta really open up this one.
well, let you guys discuss it, I guess, and see if there's any help that can be had, if not, then.
What are your feelings, guys? Hey, Jim, Craig?
Well, if you can source some rocks out there, run some culverts,
Well, like some of these other ones that we've been allowing them to improve the section line, it's not like they gotta build it to spec. I mean, you basically just
No.
build it for your use, cause there's tons of section lines out there where guys are going out and blading them and picking rocks and
Right.
digging a culvert and they come in here, they ask for permission. So that way they're not out, you know, messing with the section line right away without permission, and then they just improve it as good as they need it, really, it doesn't become. I mean, obviously it's public access because it's public right away, but it doesn't like become a part of the road system, we're not out blading it, we're not, you know. I think which is better for everybody, because in order for us to even, you know, build any kind of road, we should be building it according to a spec and adding it to the road system, and I mean, then you should be blading it, and that adds a lot of extra cost too, so.
You've had guys wanting to just clean out ditches. And now it's becoming a problem because Beck Telephone has fiber buried in the ditch. And they're going down removing the silt that's washed in, we know that's all about. And the fiber's laying there. Well, whose responsibility is that then to bury that fiber deeper?
Yeah.
Beck ain't gonna step up and move it.
I mean, I'd have no problem, you know, allowing that section line to get improved.
I don't
I
either.
just, I mean, even like we just talked about, right, when John walked out, I mean, we hardly have enough time to build that cattail road up with the help we have, so taking on extra projects like this, just,
If you wanna talk to Russ for some advice, go ahead and talk to Russ.
I just don't see how we'd be able to help out much, I mean, with the.
We might need a
distance.
culvert or two or something.
Well, I think like purchasing culverts and things like that and having a little more access to it, I don't have a problem with that stuff, I mean, whatever the going rate is for a culvert, pay that and things like that, but yeah. It's pretty hard to commit any manpower or equipment right now with the list we have, and
Yeah,
especially
it's
with
not
the,
bad.
it's just too hard.
Shit, we're down 2 guys.
Yeah.
What do you think, Russ? Not an easy fix.
You know, it depends what time of the year you attack it. I mean, if you get it when it's dry, it's not such a bad deal. It's, right now, it would be probably be pretty good right in there.
Right now, it'd be miserable, you couldn't do it.
Terrible right now,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd probably have to get, you know, a little bit of permission from Larson's after they take their beans off during the fall or something.
Further you go.
Is that your piece of dirt there, Chad, also then right on the right-hand side where it goes around that dam? Is that your land? The crop land there, to the right of that section line?
Jason, Indiana, it looks like right there.
That's the one that Larson's.
Oh, that's Larson's piece that he
Yeah.
bought up.
See, we farmed the whole thing for the last
Yep.
15 years.
You farm straight through.
Yeah, we farmed straight.
It was never a problem.
Yeah.
Just bring it to the end and down.
And access that other field to the north there, we would just jump across the fence.
Oh, that little one. Yeah.
That's another 75 acres there.
How does that become a nightmare when that stuff gets,
Ah.
that was all Vanderwall land, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kerr Vanderwall land.
Yeah.
Oh, is that becoming a nightmare?
Yeah, I guess.
I know Jason mentioned something to me about it too, Larson. He said, I don't know what we're gonna do, you know?
Yeah, it's not a great scenario.
I see it does. Greg, would you have a cat around?
He's got him sitting over by Floyd's.
I seen that. Gotta get something like that over there.
Yeah.
Get some culverts in and start getting
Well,
that.
could you go in anymore with the cat on these
You
springs?
need a track hole for putting those culverts in. Or,
Yeah,
you know. There's a lot of rock on that north one, so we just dug some of that rock out. And then laid something in there, then covered it up, but I should have went with a longer one, cause now when you go across to the sprayer, you get about this much room on either side, that's not.
that's not a nice feeling.
Time you
High
put
profile
3-4
springs.
feet of dirt on top of it, there ain't much room left, so. Hey, well, I'll just, go ahead and talk to Russ when I need some
Yeah. well,
suggestions and appreciate it, guys.
I wish we could help you more, Chad,
Yeah.
but it's just, any advice or, I guess like, just permission is.
Well, I'd say for the sake of it, I mean, does anybody have a problem if Chad would do this on his own accord? And, I mean, if anybody has a problem with it, I think for the sake of the meeting and progressing, I mean, if nobody's got a problem with it, I mean, I'd make the motion to grant Chad Vanderboer's permission to improve, you know, the section line, you know, what, section 29, township 130, range 77, or whatever the specific section line,
And you're the only guy that's using it,
Right.
right?
I mean, you can still improve it, it just doesn't have to be to the specs, and then, I mean, if he wants to, you know, Russ can at least check in on it, just make sure it's nothing that's gonna cause any real damage or nothing. Yeah, I would have no problem with allowing permission for you to improve it so you can access that land, so. I guess I would make the
Right to
motion,
get into your land, I mean, you got a right of ingress, egress.
and that's what the public right of way is there for, even though it's not in great shape, so.
I'll second that.
There's a motion by Magrum, second by Gardner, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead, Chad.
Well, if you're gonna get it surveyed, then you'll know where the section line is, you got 33 feet on each side, so.
Right.
So at least you, I mean, that's the room that, if
And
you're
there's
gonna
not-
operate outside of that, you know, then.
But there's not an issue with Larson.
No.
Well, and if you own the land there, you can go farther on your side if you want to borrow dirt or whatever, but at least you'd have permission to, you know, improve it, so.
Mhm. Okay, sounds good, guys, thank you.
Thanks, Chad.
Thanks, Chad.
See you later.
Next item is a utility permit from Beck Communications Cooperative to directionally bore fiber optic communications cable under 10th Avenue Southwest in section 9, township 131, range 79.
And those were approved, yes.
Those were approved?
Yes.
Okay. And there's two of them. Okay, there's another utility permit for, okay, so they're both approved. Okay,
I'll make a motion to.
motion by Gardner, second by Miller. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. They're two separate permits, okay.
Yeah.
Road Department 2027 budgets, Russ?
Do you wanna, Gary's here, do you wanna?
Oh, yeah, Gary,
Permit deal?
permits. NextEra's got 5 trucks coming in unloaded, no permits in hand.
Unloaded.
They're
They're
unloaded.
unloaded now.
They're unloaded, they were loaded. when they
They're unloaded now, they unloaded.
So you want-
I got, so Alan Sargent, and Clint Sherb are both looking into it. I gave Ron Clint's number. He asked me to have Ron call him. He's gonna, there was a little mix up. It sounds like some of those trucks were supposed to go to, not there.
No, they're the materials.
Northern
unloaded.
Divide project, so they showed up to this project by mistake. So it sounds a little bit like a show with an S in front of it, but they are working on remedying it, so.
Okay, so these trucks weren't part of this project, they were.
Well, I'm not 100%. I told Ron to get a hold of Clint Sherb, and then Alan Sargent has been out there the whole time. He's the kind of the guy in charge of the construction. So they're all kind of on it, so we'll see how this,
Did they haul a load on our road and then unload it out there?
well, I don't know, I'm not 100% sure.
I mean,
It's a double dip.
well, I'm just saying, a permit's a permit, it's the whole reason.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
They gotta
yeah.
buy it anyway.
Absolutely.
Sucks to be them, but I mean, it doesn't change the fact they went over our road with a load, like.
That's right.
And
We'll
that-
find out, like I said, he asked me to have Ron give him a call, sure did, so I gave him Clint's number and said, get hold of this guy and he'll start.
What is the policy if they come out without permits? On a site,
You
what
got
happens?
that, you got, have the policies in that, but I mean, there's a couple things, you can either, if they're part of that project and they actually were loaded, okay, you can either go back and say, okay, they're, if I understand right, they're all buying their permits electronically through load pass,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So they can either get online even after the fact and buy that dang permit, or face or be penalized. Especially if they're part of this whole project, and whether it's a mix-up in communications, they went to the wrong site or whatever, but they're still traveling loaded.
On our roads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say the big thing is, I mean, part of the load pass permit system is the same thing as they're contractually obligated to follow our haul road agreements and our conditional use permit, so if they're not doing that, then like I said, they're putting their permit at risk, cause I would
Yeah.
say we'd have to probably revoke their permit or suspend it temporarily if they're not gonna follow the rules.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't wanna go that far, I'm hoping they just, these 5-6 people go, oh, I didn't know that's what you're supposed to do, and when they get their permits, then it's fine, but.
See, now it's good there's somebody on site.
Right, and that's
Had
exactly.
Ron not been there, they'd probably never be
And this is
caught.
what happened with that last project, it was like I said, after Francis started digging, he found, it wasn't a lot, but it's a few percent of the loads were not
This is like
accounted
counted
for,
one.
so.
This is day one.
Alright, so you get,
That's really sad.
you got a few hundred loads and
is,
you
it's a
miss a couple of
concerning factor.
days,
Yeah.
something, I mean.
Are these trucks independent or the company trucks?
I think they were all supposed to be independent, is my understanding, they were, not, one larger company probably had a majority of the drivers, and then there was some probably scabs here and there that would pick up some of the loads, but.
That was the complaint a few years ago when they built the towers, was you had independent truckers that were skipping the permit system. And you had the guys that were actually following the rules and buying the permits, they were upset because when they bid those out,
Yep.
the guys that are not buying the permits, which get expensive,
Yeah.
lower their bid and get the loads.
Yeah,
And the guys that are following the rules
Yeah.
get penalized.
yeah,
To me, this needs to come back to Nextera,
yeah.
even if they're independent truckers, holding them accountable to make sure that anybody who's doing business with them has got the proper payment.
That's right.
Or they pay the penalty,
Pay the major.
especially when they're here and gone.
Yeah,
How do you track that down at that point?
yeah.
Well, and that's what, I mean, the ideal situation is they just get the permits and I mean, we're trying to enforce compliance, we're not trying to punish them, it's not the goal. But, like you said, with Ron there too, it's just like anything, if you don't have enforcement with your policy, you don't have a policy, so.
Yeah.
So I would say the first thing to do would be to tell them they gotta get their permits, if they like refuse or somehow fight it, then I guess we might have to revisit their permit status, I mean, that's the power we have.
Yeah,
So hopefully it doesn't come to that and they just realize, like Gary said, it's miscommunication. A couple of these guys are some outside independent contractors, didn't know we had that, and they'll get it.
Yep.
So ideally, that's the situation.
so who's gonna get a hold of Ron? So Ron
I
knows from
sent
there moving
Ron
forward.
Clint's number and told him to call him,
Yep,
and Alan Sargent is also working on it, I'm gonna give him Ron's number as well.
When this is over, I'll go up there and talk with Ron
okay.
and see if everything is okay. And, cause he was a little bit kind of excited. He said, do I have the authority to stop them? Cause they were actually unloading as we were talking on the phone. He said they're just going about their daily businesses. And that's the thing, does Ron have authority to, he should have the
He
authority to
should
stop
have the
them,
authority,
right?
should he not?
He should,
Well,
but
he-
whether or not they'll actually listen to
Honor
it.
him,
If that's the case, I mean, Ron can call my office.
Well, and like I said, the big thing more than anything is Ron is just finding out that they don't have that permit.
Yep.
And that's where, again, he can call the sheriff's department or Russ, and if neither of them know what to do or want, like, we have the permit, or we are the overseers of the permit, and
Yep.
that is spelled out in there. I mean, we have the ability to suspend it, revoke it, so I mean, if they're not gonna follow the rules, those are the
And
repercussions.
that's where the general contractor needs to be aware of these issues, so that they,
Oh, and then,
internally
and
keep
they
this
know about the repercussions
It
of it
falls
too,
on
so
them,
yeah,
yeah.
that's where, yeah.
Yep.
Well, I got the Clint and Allen are the two right guys, they're going to make 100 phone calls between now and, before we get this meeting over with, it should be resolved.
Well, it's fair enough to assume that a couple miscommunications will
Yep.
happen and it's a bigger sized project with different contractors, and like you said, hopefully it's one of them deals where Ron's got 5 or 6 numbers, and hopefully them numbers get rectified by the end of the day or the end of the week, and we can just go about it, but Ron's doing his job perfectly as far as I'm concerned,
Yep.
because we know about it, which is something we didn't with the last project. Good.
Yeah, that'd be good if you'd run up there, Russ.
Okay,
Yeah, if something changes, I'll let you know, Russ.
Wasn't there another thing that you asked about, another item with, Ron? About driving that vehicle we discussed at the last meeting? The
yeah,
vehicle he takes to the site, he comes and picks it up here on site. He
yes,
takes it and comes back, and he's questioning if he has to bring it back to the courthouse.
he's not questioning, he just asked, he said that was the plan, but when we talked, and I guess it did make sense to me, but I understand, the rules are the rules, he was saying that he's right there, and he has to drive into Lytton, then turn around and drive right back, plus drive out to the site. He was wondering if it would be possible just to keep it right at his place versus driving. Basically, he's putting like 10, 20, 30 miles extra a day for just to bring
Just
it
to
back.
have it here.
And then, I guess his question too was if they do work Saturdays, they work, whatever. Sometimes it might be a little later in the evening or something like that, then he has to if it's at 8:30 or something, he has to run back in, turn around and run his own pickup out there, so he wasn't mad or anything, he was just wondering
Yeah.
if there was an option
Well-
just to keep it there.
There are vehicles, we don't really necessarily have a policy in place, we just like them back at the courthouse, and that's where you pick them up from, but we also can change that policy if it makes sense. You know what I mean? Does it make sense to waste the guy's time, the gas, the miles on the vehicle? We have the ability to change that policy if it makes sense to change that policy.
In particular cases, yeah, I would think so. That would make a lot of
It
sense.
makes sense, but I don't,
It's a short temporary type thing, it's not like this is a permanent deal, like he's doing this all the time. To me, it makes sense to save the gas and the time.
I know on
To
the
keep the
state,
vehicle.
federal level, you don't get to do that no matter what.
You can get approval on the federal level to take a GSA vehicle home, you just have to get approval prior to. I've done it,
Have it?
yes.
I know state vehicles you don't.
I think you can.
I did.
Do they?
You just have to get approval.
approvals.
Everybody's about saving the taxpayer some dollars, and if it makes sense, they're making
It's okay, I'm
exceptions
just
to stuff like that.
questioning.
Yeah, no, they are making, they typically, the policy, like for GSAs, is just what you said. You pick it up in a lot, or you pick it up from the parking lot of the place you work, and that's where you go. If it makes sense, I would drive one home and then pick up soldiers from Wishick and Ashland, New Zealand, take them to Bismarck for grill for 2 days, and then take them back home. It just made sense to take it with me, rather than spend an extra 4 hours driving in the morning and night.
200 miles a week.
That he's driving extra.
I'm just
Have to take
putting it out there to the board that we make the rules, we can modify those rules to better fit what works and saves.
With a certain.
Yeah, and I agree, as long as it's known that it's for work purposes only, and as long as it doesn't become problematic.
That's
If
right.
it becomes problematic, then it's gotta be revisited and addressed.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it, it's just so it doesn't become, like you said, it's problematic.
Yeah.
Right, but when does it become problematic? When it's posted on Facebook or there's letters to the
Yeah,
editor? Cause
that's-
Ron Dyke was one of my closest neighbors, I love Ron to death, but I trust him completely, I have no issue with him doing that, but in the past, it always seems to be where this line gets blurred on, and stories get made up out in the public on what's getting done and what's not getting done, and like, do you wanna have that situation? That's where.
That's where I was.
And you know,
coming-
like, I get it,
create a
and you
problem
can
with
save
computer.
200 miles and a half tank of fuel, by all common sense knowledge, it would make sense for Ron to just operate out of his yard like that was his operations station. But, next thing you know,
So if you know that it's probably not gonna pan out right, then we just leave it.
well, I'm
the way
just
it is.
telling you, all it takes is 1 or 2 or 3
Yeah.
disgruntled people
Oh,
and a Facebook post or a letter to the editor, and all of a sudden Ron's this thief who's ripping the county off and we're doing nothing about it, and it's like, so
I
again.
always say avoid black eyes if you don't need it.
Well, it just,
Let's just
it
leave it.
doesn't
That's
make
my
sense for
opinion.
Ron to do what he's doing, but if you do it any other way, you open yourself up to this level of scrutiny that is gonna outweigh any value you saved by doing it. That's why I feel even like for Ron's sake, it should just be clear, crystal clear, A to B. You know, if he's gotta run out with his own personal vehicle, cause it makes more sense, he could turn in a mileage slip, I'd be fine with reimbursing him if he ran out on a Saturday night rather than coming into town. It's, common sense doesn't meet transparency with some of this stuff, that's the problem.
Common sense isn't always so common.
Well, it's just difficult,
It
like you
is,
said,
it's so damn
you
difficult.
piggyback 2 or 3 things to
The
save
general
money and
public,
somebody
nothing
doesn't see
against
it
the
that way,
public,
so.
but it gets out
No, and I'm fine with that, Aaron.
I just don't-
You've
I don't
lived it,
want-
You've lived it, and I
I
just
don't
was
want
bringing it
Ron-
up that we are the
Yeah.
policymakers, so if it makes sense, cause it does make sense. But you're right, one person or 2 people see it, and it's an absolute.
Ron's too good of a guy to get embroiled into the rumor mill, he's
So let's
helping
just
us out,
leave it-
he's doing a
let's just
good
leave it the way it
position,
is
just keep it ridiculously
people
clear.
want-
And you can explain the reasoning why.
Yep, I will let them know tonight or this afternoon. Anything else as far as,
I don't believe so. Is there anything else other than what we just had addressed to you, Gary, with these permits? That's
Yeah,
why we asked.
It sounds like a wildering motion to try and get it rectified at the bottom, and I let that course proceed as it is, and.
I got a couple road spots, if that's what we're on, or.
Go ahead, address.
Yeah, before we get into his budget.
Or it was, I mean, one of them is, so 24th Avenue, I think we talked about it last month, that's right on the county line there.
yep,
I talked to Gar a little bit, just asking him, because Chris Weigel and some other people had called me, and they're like, what's the situation with, cause we like split that road with Logan.
yep,
And hardly anybody, I don't remember that, that's long before my time, so I called Gar. And he said that Logan was supposed to blade from a certain point, and then we were. And I don't know if that's getting honored, the right, like Gar's still doing what he's always done. But do they have a new blade operator, or they, cause the complaint is that, like, they see our blade out there, but we don't blade the entire road, but the point was, is we were
okay.
splitting it with the other, like, cause there's like Dale Johnson's old farm, north of Highway 34.
yep,
So Gar was like taking that piece and then a couple miles down, and then Logan was taking the rest, cause it's like a 5 or 6 mile road, and so we were like trying to split it into this like,
That's split by Dale Johnson's where Nicholson's are.
well, no, not split there, but I'm saying that's all on the county line. So
Okay.
who should blade it, us or Logan? So the agreement between the commissions with Logan and Emmons back in the day was, we'll do from this street to this street on 24th Avenue, you guys do this one to this one, and then we'll work out graveling or any culverts or projects, but the regular maintenance, so Gar says he blades from where dead ends up by Dale Johnson's down to like 67th or something, and then there's like 3 miles south of there, cause somebody said, well, I haven't seen your blade on that road all year, and Gar's like, well, you won't. Like, we're not, I've never bladed that piece, and I don't know if we have to revisit that, cause I know you were kinda talking to John Wald a little, right?
and I can call him here today and see
Sure.
what, if he got a new operator or something, or what's going on.
I guess the reason why I'm saying it is because it seems like we might be catching the blame for like not blading that, and that was never a part of the, it's kinda like these roads on the outskirts of Lytton deal, where who's supposed to do it, well, I think this is one of them deals where Gar's the only one's been around long enough to remember it, no one else is honoring it, now these people are like, why isn't this 3 miles getting bladed, you know, so. We just need to make sure that if that's not how the agreement's gonna be, we need to clarify that agreement, cause
Okay,
I'm catching texts from these folks. And, you know, they're not being mean, but they're kinda like, I asked you last month, and I'm like, well, I thought we sorted it out, well, apparently that conversation isn't. They're only texting us, they're not texting Logan County, and I don't know what's going on, so.
In fairness, Weigels are Emmons County residents, they live on the west side of the road.
Yeah, they own land in Logan too.
But that's what I'm getting at.
Well, like, my point is like, it kinda keeps coming to me, and I'm like, man, well, Russ wasn't here, I wasn't, I mean, your dad was probably here like my dad was, and that was it, well.
Yeah, they live. on
They,
the west.
yeah, they remember great, so anyway, that's why I called Gar one day, to be like, what is the deal with that road? So he kinda filled me in that it's like a mutual, kinda supposed to be a mutual agreement, and if it's changed.
Where nobody's left anymore.
Well, yeah, right, everybody's gone
Should
except
be on
probably
paper
Gar, so.
probably.
But anyway, so
All
24th
these
Avenue is
gentlemen
just,
agreements, boy, they're
just try and figure out what the
You know,
hell.
a lot of that could be solved, which is a very, very simple written MOA. Memorandum of
so
Understanding,
it should.
right, between the two commissioners, it's a very short, sweet document.
Yeah.
That each-
Simple, done, it's here it is.
Probably should.
It was
be
done
And then,
July
That would
7th,
make sense.
26.
Another one is, the culvert by Robert Hydricks.
Okay,
There's a culvert that's kinda half I think it maybe had a flag and now the
Yeah.
flag
It's too
might be
small,
gone,
right?
but.
That's why
Yeah.
there's that major floodplain in there.
there's, that, and then the ones right by,
Zocker,
Zockers there too, yeah, it's.
I think that's kind of one of the.
that's the one he's talking about.
Well, yeah, he was mainly just saying there's no more flag, there's no more, and it's kinda washed into the shoulder a little
Yep.
bit, kinda dangerous, so. At a minimum, maybe get it marked up pretty good if
Okay,
we
thanks,
can't
Gary.
fix it right away,
It's lucky they're there, yeah.
so.
Yeah,
The amount of
I
water.
wanna compliment it, there's a lot of feedback I've gotten on that project there by the Strasburg elevator and that farm to market road going east with that tar lay and cement. A lot of people are complimenting, why wasn't that done a long time ago? I said, we didn't have the material to put down a long time ago to do what we're doing now. And it's holding up good the way it looks. Have you driven it?
I have, and we did some out here east of
Going up
Lake
that
area
hill.
stuff, and then.
How was that?
By the cemetery going, we
Yeah,
did some
no,
more.
I think it's been great, I mean, time will tell, cause it's.
Right.
It's ground asphalt, it probably won't last forever, but yeah, it's nice right now,
Packs in at
You know.
least.
And you can blade it, right?
We can,
Yeah.
that's, it's mixed with cement, so it doesn't, it sets up, but it's not like
Not like
unbelievable, so.
tar. It's-
I mean, like Aaron said, time will tell, and that's why we're trying to do these little spots to kinda
Well, I
see
mean,
how it's gonna lay
the
out.
last
and-
couple of years though, I mean, cause those are tough
Yeah, they're
spots,
tough
right where the
spots.
gravel meets the pavement, there's always washouts there, so.
What did you ever do up there by Hazelton off Highway eighty-three that you talked about, that
Yeah.
curve, on the old eighty-three curve there, anything?
I-
Cause I drove it multiple times.
I talked to the state, actually, I met Ray Sarah up there when we talked about that
Yeah.
last year and stuff, and he did some checking and stuff like that. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that the state occupies 75 feet from the middle of the highway,
Yep, yep.
which that kind of fell into, he
The
felt that
state's.
was the state's thing, and he wanted to leave it alone, so that's where that kind of went. But that's not to say, I mean, he didn't say we can't do nothing. His recommendation was leave it alone, so,
Right,
Because you see it on a lot of curves or a lot of inlet roads where they're hauling blacktop in,
you know,
coming into the highway structure.
yeah, I don't think we could do anything unless it was outside the
Inside
highway.
of it right away.
If there is some of it that's outside of it, we should either tear it out or fix it,
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
getting pretty rugged, but.
and that might be another area where we could lay some of this stuff down to help join it better, or, combine them.
I mean, even that would be probably better, cause it gets ugly on that piece right there, there's some,
I
there's
think
Missouri Valley eggs coming out of there
Yeah.
too, and then Apperts use that from their bin sites, it gets beat up.
That's the old Highway eighty-three though.
Well, it could be,
Right.
and then
Oh,
now,
yeah.
I mean, now it's it's County Road 7 or something, wasn't it, or what the heck do they call it, or, cause I think that's 7th Avenue there, so they call it like County 7, everybody always calls it, but.
Bypass, the Hazelton bypass.
But yeah, and then, the only other thing was, so Rob Shaner put a double wide up. I don't know if you're familiar with it all, so it'd be on, I think it's 82nd Street. And it comes off of 17th Avenue, like south of that Caseman place or whatever, right along the highway. And so it'd be back on like Alan Sanger's land, cause he's married to Alan's
Oh,
first
yeah,
cousin
married
or
to-
something, or
He's
his-
ready
or
to
sister.
center stuff.
Yep, so anyway, it's a relative of Sanger's,
Yeah.
and that road was like built up. Like, I mean, like it was like a township road at some point,
Yeah.
it just, there's an abandoned farmstead back there, and then they put a double wide up out there.
They
That
just,
would be like the old George Bush place, is
no,
that
no,
the right?
beyond the old Eddie Sanger place.
It's a Sanger place, I think.
Eddie
so it would
Sanger
be-
had a farm down by the creek, and
Yeah,
then he
so I
built
think
that new house up by
It's gonna be
eighty-three.
right about there, yeah, zoom into that once.
Is that the same, no, is that the same, no, that doesn't go down to Rainy Shealy. That's a
No,
different
no,
road.
this, everything kinda dead ends around the creek kind
Yeah,
of
it's
stuff
not
around
by
there,
Eddie's.
but anyway, they were just, what I was gonna do is just maybe when you have some time, if you're out that area, just drive it and see what it would even take. Like, I'm not saying do anything, but just, it looks like it's been built up, like in that low spot there, there's a culvert, they say that culvert has totally failed. And,
That's where Eddie hit the ditch that time, when he ended up at that brain tube. With a single axle truck, yeah.
but anyway, that road does have like ditches, like it was that road served a farmstead years and years and years ago.
Yeah,
Kinda like, almost like how like Vogel's and some of them were out there, where they
Yeah.
like, they build a place on an old place. it's a maintainable road, but it hasn't been bladed in many, many years, and they would like to see what options they have, or, you know, I mean, if there's some kind of cost share, we could kind of bring it back into the fold is what they're hoping for.
Are there bins down there, old bins?
Don't know about that. There's a building, there's like a Quonset down there, and I think Alan Sanger stores some equipment, and they have some old bins. I don't think they don't use them anymore, but,
You know,
cause I think Alan farms that
Yeah,
ground,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then the Shaners here have put a.
Lenore's the heir, or the widow.
God, that I'm not sure of. I just know that they were kind of requesting some input, I guess, or I don't know what the proper suggestion would be, but
Okay,
if, you know, maybe at least if we wanna talk about it again, you've seen it and you can be like, yeah, it's not that big a deal, or maybe it is, and figure out some kind of if there's something we can do.
okay,
I told him I'd bring it up, so I thought I'd let you know.
I'll check
Then
it
the
out.
only other thing is, do you have Jeremy Holzer out on Al's route? He's doing a really nice job.
Is it?
He's
Okay.
doing very, very
Is
good. Yep,
What do they call it?
out in my area.
I
He's
will,
doing really nice work. There's really no windrows, everything's usually pretty smooth, I mean, so yeah,
Okay.
pass it along, he's doing really nice work.
I will do that, thank you. I got a couple other things unless you guys go ahead.
How much cement, ground up cement do you have left?
We did a total of 11,000 tons, I believe. That was pavement, though. We have a separate millings pile, and then we have the concrete and pavement together, so I don't know what the difference is. Right now, we have a good pile, but it goes fast,
Yeah.
so. Why, do you have a
No, I'm
spot
just
or?
asking, so.
Because you're not selling it to private individuals,
No.
you're keeping it for our road
No, I've
infrastructure,
had
right?
4 or 5 people
I've
reach
had
out
guys
to us,
ask me.
and I just said, we have to
Tell you
keep
what,
it to.
It looks like the mountain from the Grinch.
Yeah.
I was golfing there on the 9th hole, and look up, and you're like, oh my god.
Did you drive in and grab the texture of that?
Well, I was out there, cause I dropped some concrete off while they
Oh,
were
yeah,
crushing,
yeah.
me and Chris Rourke, there was some sidewalk projects going on, and I hauled some stuff out, and I'm like, that is getting me a pile, and then they were maybe only halfway through, but that crushed concrete you can do a lot of stuff with that.
Yeah.
I think we should run an ad in the paper that we'll take all the cement. For
We,
people to
you
tear
know,
it out.
just Chris alone is boss, or the main guy that dumps out there,
Yeah.
but, there's already a nice pile,
That's a plus.
you know, which it does, it
It's
works
good
out good.
material, I mean, for like base layer, for culvert, all kind, it's handy to have, big fan of it.
Used to be a burden, but now it's a plus.
It
When
is,
you
and
can
it,
crush it up.
it does.
There's not so much rebar and all that stuff anymore, sidewalks and
Yeah.
stuff that are using fiber, so that helps a lot. It was always rebar that a guy had to try to.
you know, and he had a magnet on his machine, and there was a good pile of rebar that it sifts out of there.
Oh, really?
I'm sure there's some that gets by, but for the most part, it's pretty clean material, so,
Even that wire mesh.
Yeah.
That'll get by too,
Yeah.
that cement.
yeah. As long as we're on that stuff, Lauren Vandervorst, did some work for us last year. And he had contacted me and was interested in doing a little bit this year. He doesn't do a lot, but he's got some free days now and then. What the deal is he was asking, last year we paid him the same rate as we did to Peterson's, just because that's what he was doing, but last year as well, he uses his own payloader and he, supplies the gravel out of a pit. So he was wondering, he said he doesn't have to have it, but he was wondering if there was anything extra we could give, you know, because he's using his own machinery and his own supplies basically. So I told him I better ask you guys before I say yes or no on that deal, and just was wondering what your consensus was. Like I said, he doesn't do a lot. He comes in, you know, maybe a couple days a week in the time that he has now between harvest, and then once harvest stops, he pretty much calls it quits and goes back to farming,
So
but
he's got what, a belly dump or a side?
he has a belly dump, and he's been running the roads down in the southern part, the back roads that don't get a lot of traffic and stuff like that, but still need attention. It's been working fairly decent to help us out, and it's a lot of roads that are way down in his area that is out of the way for the rest of our stuff as well, so.
Yeah, he does a good job.
Where are they getting the gravel from, out of that Knoll pit?
Right across the border in South Dakota, there's someplace.
He's
they
got some land with some gravel on it.
Yeah,
It's a little finer, it works pretty well out there, actually, he visited with me, I was out at his place and I looked at it and he just said he thought it would be nice to get a little something, you know, he said, it's all my stuff, he said. These other guys are hauling for you out of your pit and their payloader and your gravel, and he just said, I don't need it, but it would be nice, and I said, yeah, he said he had talked to Russ and Russ would bring it up, so. I don't think he's out of line asking for, I don't know if we give him a few dollars a yard or something like that he dumps, you know, or for the gravel, or. I mean, he doesn't have a huge area, you know, he said it's not big enough to mine, cause I said, hey, do you wanna? And he said, they're all just small pockets he's got, so he's just been using that,
But it has been working well in that area. It seems to work as good as anything from what I've seen, and like I said, he,
Did a lot of our roads that right by my place.
you know,
Yeah,
so.
yeah, he levels it off and,
Yeah, he does a nice job with it. He's, you know,
He's got a blade too now.
no, he just uses high grade. blade.
Mark Vanderhorst has a blade.
Yeah.
I don't know about Warren, but, I mean, historically, when we've done this stuff, you either like bring them on as a seasonal and rent equipment from them, that way you have some kind of coverage, they're like an employee and then you rent equipment, we've done that. Or the other thing is you negotiate like a rate and you hire them as an independent contractor and then they have to supply some liability insurance or
and that's,
something.
he's got all that, that's what he's been doing, he was just wondering about getting a little more, cause it's his gravel.
Well, that's what I'm saying, you
Yeah.
would just contract a rate, like, I mean, if he wants
Yeah.
$10 a yard for his material, or if he wants $100 an hour for his payloader, and then that's what you sign on for, you know.
Sure.
Whether you have it on a limited bud, like a max of $10,000, or you just wanna pay an hourly rate and it runs through us, or I mean, that's basically how we've negotiated in the past, cause then you're trying to keep things clear cut, like,
Yeah,
you're purchasing gravel and you're hiring him as a contractor, and as long as he fulfills the insurance needs, there's some severability there, and then you don't have any kind of blended liability where nobody's got insurance coverage. That's the biggest issue. That's why you
I think
do these.
I think if a guy pays him, if you come up with an amount for yardage wise, he'd be content with that, is my understanding.
Would everybody be okay with that by the yard? When he's doing the monitoring, are you guys all okay with that?
Well, it doesn't have to be like that either, I'm just, I mean,
I mean, I'm just
the only
asking.
reason why it's nice to do things like hourly rates and yardages is we already have kind of a pre-negotiated amount through like Campbell Township, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
consistent, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going outside the lines with one person versus another.
That's just what
You
I'm
know,
asking.
we have a certain amount we charge for a motor grader and an excavator and all that, it's always good to try and stay
Yeah,
that
stay
way,
that line,
cause
yeah.
we've all
You're not
agreed,
wrong.
we think that's what it's worth.
Yeah.
I would suggest doing it that way, and then same thing with the yardage, maybe contract a specific yardage or something, or some way where it's accountable. You know, he's gotta submit receipts, you pay on the receipts, you go up to 1,000 yards or something, or that way it's not endless, but yet it also gives them a commitment that
Yeah.
you're not gonna buy 12 yards from them and then no, and then here they think they have a job for 2 weeks and go use them for a half a day. Like,
Yeah.
the biggest thing is the negotiation and make sure it's ironed out, and then have Joe just double check it so it doesn't create a liability
Yeah.
issue for us. I think we can do that with anybody that's, you know, got insurance and a CDL, things like that. I mean, you just don't want people running outside the lines causing a problem.
So just,
I don't have an issue.
just talk to him, Russ, and come up with, look at, like he said, the Campbell County Township.
Well, I would just
Campbell
use the rate
Township.
list, I mean, you know, I mean, I feel like that's the fairest way, cause that's what we're charging other people, that's what they should maybe charge us back for a mutual rate. I mean, if we're at 120 and they want 125, I don't think it's a backbreaker, but you gotta have something to start with,
Yeah.
at least we
No,
use
it's-
those numbers.
That's smart, yeah, rather than be all over the place.
Good to be all over.
I will get a hold of him and see what he says, but like you said, he was open to basically anything. He was just asking for, cause it does add up. I mean, I totally understand what he's saying, so.
yeah, right.
Okay, the next thing is Al Holo. He has a work release for January 21st,
July 21st.
July 21st, sorry.
Yeah, you scared the crap out of me, like, we're talking about this already.
So, I do have the paperwork and stuff from the doctor at my desk out there and stuff, everything is good to go, but he's only cleared for half days. So, he doesn't know, is that gonna be for a month, is it gonna be for 3 months? We don't have an answer of when Al is gonna be here 40 hours a week.
Just put them where you can put them.
I think now, given the situation with being down another guy, I think you gotta take at least a half
Yeah,
days.
right.
I mean, cause with you being short like that,
What can you use, but you can't get him in a blade? You can't go
No,
to
he's
payroll.
not cleared to climb, he can lift up to 20 pounds.
Can he handle a
there's
broom with
a-
a shovel?
so he can't run a motor grader.
No, he's
Oh,
not able to climb a
That
ladder,
really- that hurts.
She said,
anything
this
like
is what
that.
hurts.
Yeah, no, I see, cause at least my theory was, Al's a fine route blader, put him on someone's route while you're pulling him off for the cattail road or something was my,
Yeah,
Last time I talked to him, he said, if you're willing to put him in there with a payloader, he's willing to.
well, that's true, but
He said that, he said,
yeah.
I just need a little help getting up in there, he said, I can do everything I need
You know,
to
if this was the
from
coal
inside."
mine, they had man lifts on a lot of equipment, then you could talk about it, but yeah, this is a little different.
well, no, there's no, can't climb no ladders.
Ay, ay.
It pretty much takes everything away other than a pickup.
It's like you got yourself a secretary.
There's your administrative assistant.
Anyway, I just wanted to bring you up to date that that's where he's at. Like I said, we don't have no more, he doesn't know if it's gonna be like,
Can he get into like, say, the Bobcat to work on some?
well, it says right in there, no twisting, no turning, you know how the workman's
I
comp
mean,
deal is,
that's
so
nice.
pretty
Well, I
much-
just thought to do some culvert work maybe or something, and maybe get into something lower.
and I thought too, but we don't have a lot of machines that require
Yeah.
No
It's harder
sturdy.
getting up
anything
there.
with climbing or anything of that sort, so. He would do it, no doubt about
Yeah,
it, but we're
We'd
violating.
like him back also healthy too, so
We
just.
absolutely don't want him to get hurt
No.
working for us either.
And that's what's been
And
done.
he's fragile, I will say that, he said he was told to get rid of the walker and everything else, and he said he didn't really do anything, he just did a day without it, he thought he hurt, he went back in, got x-rays and everything, he said he thought he really messed something up, and it was fine, but
You felt it, huh?
yeah, they tell him to get rid of stuff and do more, and he says, every time I do that, I feel like I heard something, and then I wind up here,
It's
and
softer than you look.
yeah. Yeah, it's just, that's what happens when it's your third surgery, I think,
It's the second one. They busted the femur.
fragility.
So then,
Yeah.
the next one on the list would be Mike Kelch. Like I told you guys this morning, he did lose his middle finger. The report was yesterday, they think everything else is gonna come through, a little bit of time and stuff like that, so,
Not a work incident.
no,
Okay,
No,
just for the
no,
public
no,
record,
no,
not a work incident, okay.
it was not, no. So, I don't know exactly when he will be back as well, but I'm sure when he does come back, it's gonna be a little bit limited for some time to get through everything, so. That brings us to the next thing, I believe, is the 55 Street complaint on the section line. Is that something we can discuss now?
55th, go ahead.
I went up there, looked at it, I talked with Gary a couple times about it, stuff like that.
Where's this at?
It's the one you and I went
No,
to.
Oh, is that on that Woodland deal? Okay.
Yes, yep,
Almost up on the Burley County line.
Yeah, right by the church. Well, I thought Rocksteads were coming in, Fritz. Oh,
I don't believe so.
that's what I was told.
Anyway, as you can see, the black line is where it should be, and you can see the road that veers off to the south there, so. I believe the property owner wants it back straight is what I'm understanding.
Mhm.
And he wants it, what, he wants it reclaimed, that he can farm that all or what?
Well, I think his plan is to fence it off, from what I was understanding, he was gonna
Oh,
fence off
This
the,
was before.
It was last year.
Yeah,
That's an ugly, you've been in there, haven't you? Oh,
It's deep.
you,
that's
yeah.
deep. He said that they were throwing debris in on his land. Well, I drove in there, there may have been a wheelbarrow that was dumped there. of
Not a
cement.
lot.
No. We've
So that sand, right, from the thirties blew in there, that's just a big mound in there? And trees grew on top, or?
It's just a big draw.
Or is
It-
it-
All I can say is I've been a part of landowners fencing off roads that have been used for 50 or 100 years, and it ends up in court every time.
So they went around the draw, that's been like that for the last homestead days with buggies.
Well, them trees aren't small, so.
No.
I've been there a while.
It's been around a long time.
This wasn't last year.
Yeah, that's right. Did Josh, you have a picture from like 58 or something like that, or what? 57 to 62, so that,
Been there a while.
A long time.
70 years, right?
Well, there's no such a thing as an established trail.
Well, it's like I said, that's the stuff that you need a judge to interpret, cause you're
Yeah, I
gonna.
thought we talked about this, we weren't gonna touch this with a 10-foot pole, because you
Nope.
had gone through this with your
You
own
went
family.
through that yourself.
Deal with crap
Well,
like
and it was
this.
right along the river too, because once you get out in that country, you drive where you can, you don't drive where they tell you, and then
That's right.
after.
So
And
this
there's old highways out that way, there's all
Russ, this
kinds
is
of.
rearing
old
its
stuff.
ugly head again, is that what the deal is here? This has been brought up again?
The landowner that owns the land with the road there and stuff, like evidently contacted Gary. Or either that or the people that need access to the east
Fritz,
contacted
Robstead
Gary.
and those guys have land in the back.
Mhm.
Okay,
And if this does get fenced off, that blocks their access to the property to the east.
And they've been going around that tree, that established trail.
that's the road.
That's the road
Yeah,
for the
that's
last
All I
60
can
years.
tell you is 70+ years of access. There's case law and stuff like this, so as a commission,
Better
I'll
off
just
stay
tell
away.
you my opinion of it. My opinion is I wouldn't do anything without a court order. I would, if
I'm
one
gonna say
landowner
we're-
wants to fence it and the other ones wanna take him to court,
Yeah,
and
They
then
fight it.
if the judge says one thing or the other and we're responsible for something, then you do it afterwards, cause no matter what you do, you're gonna be wrong on this.
yeah.
You side with
will
one
be.
side,
I
they're
agree with
both
Aaron.
right, they're both right. The landowner shouldn't have to supply access, I don't blame him. But if you've been using that access for 70+ years, I don't know at what point did you not cut it off, and so that's where I'm almost certain that this is gonna be a judge's decision before, and whoever acts outside of that's gonna be wrong, doesn't matter. Just-
I'd like the judges resolve that, the attorneys.
Yeah, well, I'm not, we're just.
I don't.
Right, but that's
And
what
I
I
was
would just tell you.
contacted-
Russ, result it for us.
If the landowner wants to fence it off and those other landowners wanna take him to court or so, I'd say with us, I would have no stance on
Yeah,
it.
we're gonna stay clear of that.
That'd be my advice to you guys,
I agree with Aaron.
seen it already.
Well, yeah, you got records going back to the 50s. and
Well, like I
60s.
said, Josh just showed you a picture from the 50s of it, I mean, how do you,
I sympathize with the landowner, but
right,
that's, that doesn't.
He wants to simplify things from what he said the last time he was here, to simplify his estate in the future for his family. So that if something, when it does happen to him when we pass, that it's simplified and done. That it's a straight, square piece.
Well, he'll have to fight that out with the rest.
well, like I tell you, this is not a simple situation,
No.
cause like, my dad wanted to simplify his situation and fence the boundaries of his land, and he found out that,
You just don't do it.
well, you can do it as long as it doesn't meet these certain criteria, and this
Well.
might meet that, and
I got a section line way in the back to the west. And it's, nobody really travels it, it goes down into a draw, and comes back up. But I had it surveyed and set the fence back 33 feet. I could have set it tighter against, but for what? All you're gonna end up doing is moving it
well,
again.
like I said, that's a sticky situation, I'd say, let them sort it out civilly, because that predates any of us.
Okay, the next thing is, they started hauling out here for the potato, project.
Yep,
They started hauling
Yeah,
today.
I've seen some loads this morning.
material or grab.
Gravel, they're bringing in gravel now. I did talk to Tyler from RTS, who is part of the operation, he's just like a subcontractor on it, so to speak. They're gonna use 84th to bring in loaded,
From the highway straight in.
yes, and then they're gonna come through because it's so far to the north into that thing.
Yep,
They asked if they could come out and come empty on 82nd.
which is the airport road.
No, which would be Joe Hanson's, coming out by Joe Hanson's place, they're going,
Come out right in Maverick.
How is that low area that you built?
it's good.
Is it?
It's good, I mean, this would be the test for it.
Yeah.
There too, we put that same material on there, or not the same, but some of the same.
Some of it.
It got better, I don't know, I said for now, we'll give it a shot. His thing was, he said passing trucks on 84th, which I get it, when they're passing, they're gonna end up pushing that road out because each guy's gonna be out. And it gets dirty and dusty and you can't see, you know, so
Question, and maybe it's a stupid question, is there a load haul agreement on all this gravel too? Do they pay for this hauling in that we weren't aware of and we agreed upon?
that's it.
Seaview Farm deal or no? These 1,600 loads of material?
No, it got talked about, but
There
that's
wasn't,
as far
right?
as-
It just kinda caught us all off, blindsided us.
Well, I mean, the only thing,
1,649 loads
I
of
mean, the
gravel.
only thing about it is they're running legal weight, so there's that, and then the other thing would be, I mean, we are gonna basically be rebuilding 84th, I mean, we were gonna be rebuilding it even without that. I mean, even without the potato project, 84th needed work, so I don't know if a haul road agreement on this would probably really be necessary, cause there's nothing that's not gonna probably get undone. As soon as this part is done, we're gonna be going through and tearing it up and trying to rebuild it anyway.
And
Okay, I just had to ask.
they do have a blade, they're gonna try to keep with some of the
And a
softer
water truck,
spots
right?
and a water truck. He said too, he's like anybody, he's short on the manpower of things, so he's got guys jumping from machine to machine, so. I mean, it's not gonna be a perfect world by any means, but
They have been watering 84th.
have they?
I seen them a few different times out there. They went all the way to the highway too, so. I think when they were hauling in like building material, they had quite a few loads and then Sherbenski's was out there. It looks like, I didn't know who had bladed it, but I see now that they do have a blade out there. They have a pretty decent machine. It's a cat, like a 12M or N12 or something, so.
What's the name out there by Holzer on the corner where you come off 83 and hit the gravel road going south in the airport road? Time, whatever the hell it says. There's a little sign there, what is it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Teton West?
What is it?
Yeah.
That's the general contractor.
That's the general, okay.
Building the buildings,
Okay.
yeah.
No,
And Jamie is his name,
Yep, Jamie
from what I
Washburn,
got from. So yeah, I was just gonna update you guys that they are starting things, and like I said, when I talked to him this morning, he just asked, and I said, well, for now, I think it would be okay, and we'll just have to take it step by step, and that's all we can do, I guess, right? So we, hopefully,
So how much of a pad of gravel do they throw in there?
I don't know.
They're
Is
just,
any idea?
they're just coating the surface,
Just coating.
but it's that whole,
that
is
whole
it
20
26 acres, so. And then they're building that road in, that's a,
From the
what, it's a
north to
mile
the south.
road they built in there that they're graveling all that.
That's all shaped up,
Oh, yeah,
okay,
no, that's got ditches and everything now, that's what Sherbenski's has been,
okay.
they're building that road in there, that's got separation and in slopes and all that stuff. And
I have been interested.
so they're
since
graveling
then.
basically that mile of road in there, and
Yep.
then they're graveling that entire 25 acres or whatever, they're probably putting 6 inches or whatever, 4 to 6 inches.
Well, they wanna go back west and then go straight north,
Yeah,
Empty.
on Fourth Avenue, I
Right.
think is what they're talking about.
straight west and then north and then hit the main road out.
Yes, yep. And they have laid down like 30-some loads from the highway right on 82nd when you turn. They already gravelled that, it was shorter gravel, and they knew what was coming, so they took it out of their thing and put like 30-some loads onto our road
Really?
for
Did they?
us already, so just to try to stay ahead of it a little bit, so. He said too, Cavendish Farms has indicated that they wanna stay on good terms with us. So they're doing that to just try to,
Good report,
right, so,
good,
that's good,
it is.
you can't belittle them for that.
so yeah, that's all I got on that side, I guess,
They're gonna expand that pivot deal. There's gonna be a lot more pivots in that area.
Any gravel going on for us?
we are graveling, we are finishing up right out west here today, we had a couple spots that came up, over the holidays. And they will be starting, the loader's ready down there at Hague, at the Hague pit. So they will be starting down in that area tomorrow on 13th Avenues by,
Good.
Tall Kenny
Well,
News.
the word must have gotten out that you're gonna be down in the Hague area,
By,
just because we had to cross one item out.
Alright,
oh,
Well, we talked about it last fall, right?
Yeah, that
start.
area got skipped
Yeah.
and stuff like that, so I'm gonna try to get down there.
No,
There's,
there is a stretch right by the
It's
school,
what it is.
that old school,
you know,
Westfield School there, I think that's what, ninth, is that Ninth Avenue?
Which one?
From the school going to Strasburg?
that's Ninth Avenue coming up
Okay.
straight from.
Oh,
straight
anyway,
up to
when
the
you go, south on that little stretch, well, it doesn't get used a lot, but like to Don Pond there, boy, there's no gravel on that
You mean past Bacher?
path
To the
box.
south.
Past
To
Bacher
straight
Street,
south of.
God, I haven't been on that road, yeah, you're right, Jim, that road.
Have you been down that?
I get to
Oh.
Bacher and then I turn to Westfield, or I don't ever go south of Bacher though, I haven't been on
I
that road.
just happened to
in
drive
many
it
moons.
and, they had just bladed it and then it rained, you know, and boy, yeah,
Sweet, that's ugly.
there's no gravel there.
Does anybody live back there yet or not?
Don.
Don's,
Well, he doesn't live.
There's a farm straight south of there, isn't there?
It's there,
Yeah.
on the east side,
He lives in.
with that big old house.
Yeah,
That nobody lives there
No.
though.
no, he farms there though, he lives out there, you know, there.
That's
I think
right,
you should move that house and restore that as a Dutch home.
Yeah, right.
That is quite.
I already did one. I don't wanna do another one. It is though.
That's quite a home
It's
with a
pretty-
lot of character.
It does have a lot of character,
That's like that one in Westfield, that, Plumos.
yeah. Oh, that's, yeah, my grandmother's house, that
Right.
one.
That one that Joe Boone's daughter's home.
Yeah, that was my grandparents.
Really? They never had.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, like my dad's, that, no, my dad.
Commercials about returning
They
it.
built together.
Yeah.
No,
Get good material here.
You're right, oh,
No
crap.
couple never had.
Hey, Chairman, can we move along?
Will Clevinger.
Excuse me.
Right.
Let's go.
Him and I had a deal.
Yeah, I know, you can
Yeah,
discuss
yeah,
this
yeah.
after the meeting.
We're talking over
Gary
here.
said, yeah.
Russ, care to chime in on the old Dutch house in Westfield?
And we were talking, you know, that's what happens when you get old like us two guys, right, Jim?
We forgot what was going on. Sorry about that, Rob.
Sorry, Russ, excuse us.
That's pretty much what I got,
Need to go back down.
other than the budget stuff, you know.
You're
Let's go
done?
through the budget.
Go through the budget.
Yeah, let's get her done.
I did not bring that with me. That was one of one material I did not bring with, so does anybody have a,
Yeah, you can have mine.
sorry.
That's okay.
You're excused.
I can share with Craig. He doesn't fight yet. He's had his ears shut.
So, yeah, basically what I did is I requested a little bit more on the salary side, just to try to stay with the inflation side of things. Depending on what you guys decide to do and how it all works out. Other than that, things have basically stayed the same for the most part on that page.
What's your request, Russ, like, just like a cost of living across the board? Or
Basically, I did a 3% increase on it is what I did there, just,
The 3%.
That's
across
right.
the board.
yeah, just a 3% on the salaries, hoping that, you know, like I said, it's not been approved yet, so. The rest of it as well, basically you can see everything has basically stayed the same. The equipment leasing, I upped it just by 5,000 there again, not knowing exactly where things come in, so just trying to keep everything covered, I guess.
So I have a suggestion. You know, I mean, the entire motivation that I've had with trying to increase these permit values and everything is to try and be able to utilize this money to fund ourselves, right? I mean, that's the idea. Well, we've accomplished that, or at least gotten a lot farther than we have. I mean, we have permit fund dollars. I've been trying to figure out a way to try and, I wanna basically reduce the budget. Like, we don't necessarily need to spend less, is my point, but we need to figure out some ways to try and maybe cut this budget and utilize the permit fund to do it, so we can reduce some of our taxation. That's my point.
Yep.
I don't really have any great answers, except one thing really came to mind. Like this equipment leasing, you know, we're probably paying anywhere from 4 to 6% interest on some of these leases. I mean, $585,000, like, we have that money. You know, we could cut that out of the budget, we could pay that equipment off.
And that's a plus.
And we could possibly even purchase some of this other equipment outright. Or, you know, I mean, it's a consideration, like, we've probably never had a situation in the county where we could literally look at every piece of iron we have and probably pay it off. And not only pay it off, but still have money, like,
Is 585 the number to pay it off, or is that
This
just
is
a yearly
such a
lease
plus what's been
payment?
created.
right.
That's just the yearly lease payment, so we're just paying it for the year.
Well, I would really wanna consider some of these are on their last or two, or maybe only have 1 or 2 years left though. My point is
Okay.
that's where we should probably consider. Like, to me, like, the obvious answer is like, right, you have debt, and then all of a sudden you come into money and you pay your debts off,
Yeah,
right? Like,
definitely.
that'd be the idea, like, I think we should strongly consider that, because I don't wanna go through and like start slashing everybody's budgets or making them having to come and beg us for every little nickel because we're taking it from their budgets, but like, this to me is an opportunity where we
To
could,
eliminate
we
interest.
could really consider not only saving the interest rate, but also, I mean, if you can reduce the mill levy in any way, shape or form by utilizing the dollars we've extracted from these projects. I mean, wasn't that the goal? I mean, the goal's not to sit with a bank account full of money, there's nothing wrong with having reserves to prepare yourself, but at some point,
It's part
the
of business.
goal is, I mean, if you can reduce the mill levies, that's the point. That's what I would like to do.
I'll support that.
Well, I really think it's
From a
for
business
consideration,
aspect,
cause there's some of these blades that probably have like 2 years left, where it's like, you put $60,000-$70,000 on it, you pay that off. Maybe you can't pay them all off, but you could probably do a lot of damage on this to where,
You do a lot of damage with this one.
because I mean.
We have one coming due in January, I believe, or right at the first of the year, somewhere in that area, and then there's one not far, so you are right, there's.
Well, and,
at
and
least-
to even consider maybe even purchasing a blade outright and maybe even negotiating a little better deal versus of some kind of, I don't know, I'm just
Because you
saying
got the
that
money.
we're in that position where we literally we can do some of these
Bargain.
things, and I think just going through the same old budget and levying the same amount when we're, you know, have anywhere from $2 to $4 million in reserves seems kind of foolish to me, so. Cause Marla's, correct me if I'm wrong, like, we levy for that payment essentially, not through the county road and bridge fund,
Right.
so I
And
mean.
then I use, you know, what I've been doing is, last time I used the lease payment on that 3% cap.
Oh, yeah, that's right, that does kind of buy down our 3%
I mean,
cap.
I'll
lease
look on
payment.
it to see what, but you know, okay, I'm kind of going through. Our lease payments for 2026 are gonna be like $542,000, okay? And then we'll have one more payment left on that 22 John Deere grader, which is another 54,000.
5 foot to 590.
And then I'm gonna have, on the 22 cap, we would have one more payment left, which would be another 74,000. And then the two 2023 John Deere graders, 2 more payments left after the 26, which is another 140,000 twice.
Twice?
Yeah, because we have 2
So
more
240.
payments left. And then another payment, 2 more payments left in the other 23 John Deere grader, which is 74,000 twice.
So 74.
Yeah, and then we have those 2 24 cap make motor graders. Our payment's like 150,400. We'll have 3 more payments left after this year, so you gotta take that times 3, it's gonna add up quite a bit.
So it'd be $1.3 million roughly. And still that, there's a
I mean,
$400,000 cushion.
I know, but I'm just telling you, like, even if you utilize the $1.3 million, it paid off most of that. I mean, you don't have to pay it all off, but I think we seriously need to consider that because, I mean, like, essentially, like, these lease payments are, I mean, what is probably the average interest rate on one of them?
About 4%.
What do you say, 4 to 5?
4 to 5% though. But, you know,
I don't disagree with you, I just wanna make sure we have the funds to mine gravel and get some gravel pits, because we're gonna.
right, I'm not advocating burning it all,
No,
but,
we won't burn it all.
well, no, but I'm just saying that a year and a half ago, having $1 million in the permit fund,
It was big
we
money.
felt like we were pretty rich.
Yeah,
Well, we have that more.
yeah.
And it seems, in my opinion, I guess one thing that always echoes true, I'll never forget it, and it was Alex Johners, last year's commissioner. And he kind of was like, you know, we go through these budgets and we've never figured out a way to lower anybody's taxes. And it like bugged him. And he was right though, it's like every year you go through this and like, we run a good budget, like, I mean, there's not a lot of waste here, you've heard these department heads coming in here, they're keeping it the same, or if it wouldn't be for salaries, these budgets, some of them wouldn't change a nickel. we have good people running these departments. But we do have one opportunity, and that would be to really pay some of these leases down on saving an interest, possibly lowering a levy. And like you said, we don't have to pay every little thing off, but we could probably pick the low hanging fruit, or maybe we take the higher end ones that got 3, 4 more payments left, and we chunk on some of those and let the other payments carry out, and we have them other payments, paid off by the end of the year, but I'm just looking at it from how I would operate my business. If I came in on a major windfall, the first thing I'd do is I'd look at ways to start paying my stuff off. And, or that, or the other thing is the next equipment purchase, instead of going, what's the best deal? It's like, well, maybe we can figure out a deal to cash flow it and pay it ourselves.
Good.
And then honestly, when you talk about the 3% cap and its entire purpose, it was to lower or at least freeze budgets. Like, we're not doing anything outside of what anybody wanted when they wanted to propose that 3%. And that's where I feel like if you wanna try and be the outlier, the group that's trying to go against the stream, us paying off debt and trying to at least maintain or lower our budget is exactly the kind of story you wanna hear when you have a county that's got reserves. And
But
that's
you
what
could
we have.
take $1 million from that 4 million or 4.5 million and pay $1 million debt off. That's a big
And then
reduction.
be able to reduce your mill levy?
Oh.
I mean, yeah, maybe it's only $20 a
Yeah.
person, but we reduced it.
What's the estimated income from this renewal agreement with NextEra?
Well, I don't think we're really gonna have any from it, it's not really,
Well, it's a permit fund, I mean.
well, with the permit increase there too, I don't know, but you also have these other projects, now other than I mean, the Cavendish project yielded a nice permit funnel.
Right.
And
That's
there's
what I'm
other
saying,
projects
it's
that
more
are coming,
complicated.
like, so it's not like the money's gonna disappear, but right, I mean, I'm not the kind of guy that, gets $100 and I burn 99 of it day one,
Yeah.
but I think it would be very short-sighted of us to continue with this budget without trying to figure out a way to buy this budget down with cash we have on hand and try and reduce this mill levy a little. I think it'd be very short-sighted.
But what happens, okay, so we pay these leases off, we've got one coming up, it's also gonna come out of warranty too though, right? That's the thing, so that we either decide we're gonna run this equipment without warranty, or we turn around and we sell it back and buy another one. and-
Right, like, I guess that, like I said, as the sake of the discussion, the machines that have 3, 4 years warranty left are maybe the ones we pay off,
Okay.
and then we cycle these other ones through, and if we gotta cycle through 3 in the next 2 years, let's say, and we pay cash for one of them even,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, that's the kind of thinking we need to have,
Yep.
cause we're in a different level now, we're not in the level of, we just barely have the minimum in all our reserves, we have reserves, and we did that by the hard work we put in, trying to create this permit structure.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's time to reap some of the rewards of that, and the rewards of that is we need to figure out a way to supplement our own government. Pay debt, buy down some budgets, do some things where, again, like, not picking on Russ, but like even his equipment purchases, and you pull that out of the budget, and you still have the money, you can still purchase things, but you're not taxing on it.
Yes.
I'm just, like, those are the ideas we need to start thinking about with this budget. It's not just about going through the motions and passing what we're passing, but trying to figure out a way to use that money. Cause let's face it, the longer that money's there, it's either gonna devalue, or we might utilize it on something that's not as impactful.
Not as bad, that's
If
right.
you lower taxes with it, who's gonna complain?
Right.
I mean, I'm not, I'm just
No.
saying, so, sorry to steal your thunder on it, but that was where I got on this topic of like,
No, and I agree with what you said, it's very healthy what you said.
we need to,
Yeah.
we need to
I think
generate
if you
some
could-
value from that money, otherwise we didn't do any good.
So you pay 3-4% interest and you could cut that cost. That's a savings to the county, big time.
Well,
that amount of
especially
money.
like what Marla said, some of these machines, we got $200,000 left on them, well, that's 4% in the next 3 to 4 years, that's money.
That's
You know,
money.
It is.
I think we can utilize it for other, and then also too, it leaves room in the budget if you do need to lease equipment somewhere else, cause now you've lowered your threshold, you're not maxing out cause let's face it, a majority of the county road and bridge is going to payments, right?
Yeah, it
I
is.
mean, honestly, if you were gonna pay them down, you could still keep that mill levy, but you could actually start using it for better things like gravel or something else too, not,
And their 3% won't work then.
even if you buy down your levy.
Well, you're talking about paying off all of our, well.
Not all, but a good part of it.
Whatever.
Okay. Well, right now, that 3% cap, you can put down what you have for debt on there, and I did that.
Right.
So last year, if we had 550,000 worth of lease payments, I was able to use that 550,000 as a debt.
Right.
So now, if you pay the equipment off, you no longer have these lease payments. You can't go and say, well, now we're gonna buy gravel instead. and put that 500,000 in there. Now I have nothing to write off any debt on that 3%. You're not gonna be able to do it.
Well, what if you had the money and you
And
bought,
if you're gonna.
So you
pay
have
this-
to have debt in order to move, to work with?
Well, that's.
well, debt doesn't count against your 3%, she's saying, so like having debt technically utilizes you to be able to spend more.
Well, the thing is, if you paid these up,
Yep.
right, you have no more
Yep.
lease payments. You can't say, okay, now we got rid of $500,000 of lease payments, now we're gonna stick it into gravel. It won't work in that 3% then.
Right, because you're saying, well, that's only if you paid cash for the gravel, right?
Right, right.
Well, I'm just saying, if you were gonna still have payments though, if you paid off your equipment, you could actually reutilize and leverage that to buy more gravel or hire more contract, like, all I'm saying is, whatever we do, we gotta do something productive with the money. And
Yeah,
like you said, and if paying off the equipment or doing something else to be able to leverage some other project, some other thing, like, when you just have equipment payments and equipment payments and equipment payments, that ties up this entire budget, it gives you no flexibility to do anything else.
Then it's not helpful.
Maybe it's not the perfect solution right now at the moment, but let's think differently. That's, I guess, what I'm asking you to do.
Yeah,
I'm asking you to think as commissioners that have a surplus of funds instead of always feeling like we're broke, cause we're not.
it's a nice spot to be.
Well, and that's why we need to think differently though, cause
Yeah.
it's not a position anybody's in these chairs has been used to.
No,
Yeah.
And that's why that thought has to come in now.
we're in a better position in a lot of counties,
Well, right,
yeah.
but we gotta do something with
But
it.
we gotta do it.
I don't wanna be the county that's just sitting with these great reserves so we can go home and feel good about ourselves.
Then we
And
can
we're still
brag about it next time.
levying the same amount of taxes. And if we're levying the same amount of taxes, then we can be more productive with it. So maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe we pay some of the equipment off and we borrow the money to crush gravel or do something. If there's any way we can figure out something, we need to think that way. I'm not saying break the law. I'm not saying do anything
No.
crazy. I'm saying you need to think differently now.
Yeah.
Cause now we're in a different position than we've ever been. And that's my long.
We're in a good, yeah, we're in a good position. A very good position.
I don't want you to just think about this budget as something that we just did last year and then do the same thing, cause we're in a different position than we were a year ago.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah. Anything else, Russ?
Nope, yeah, so we had the equipment leasing, you know, like I said, I increased that by 5,000, just hopefully. Wanting to cover that side of it, but Aaron makes total sense and I totally agree with that. It would also be nice with what he said there to break up, right now, them blades are backed up. All coming
They're
due
the
like
bad
2 or 3 every year for like 3 years in a row, more or less, or something like that, right? It would,
Break it up a little.
you can look at it different ways, but I would like to get them broke up so that we don't always have to,
Yeah.
year after year after year, you're coming in with this huge lease payment, you know, coming due again like that. It would be nice to break that in some way.
Well, we kicked the can down the road with extended warranty because COVID was getting hard to buy blades and it was easier to just
Is that how
renew.
that became
And
about?
we renewed like 3 or 4 in a row, cause it was like $15,000 to do like a 2-year warranty and it worked. I mean, it wasn't a bad deal.
Yeah.
But then like Russ said, when it came time, we're like, oh, we should probably let them go. We had 2 or 3 to do. And then it just
Yeah.
became,
A problem.
that's the reason why these lease payments are as high as they are, because technically we were paying them off and we were just paying these cheap extended warranties. But then when we had to renew, then we were upgrading half the fleet at once. So that's why the extended warranty, it's not like it was a horrible idea, but it just puts you in a different position.
Yep.
Mhm.
So then if you go to the next page, there again, projects and improvements and stuff, I'm just asking for the same amount as last year. Hopefully, basically, a lot of that would be continuing on the Linton shop here, with the roof and stuff like that we have to do yet. So that's the reason for that there. And the rest of it is pretty much the same, I think, for the most part. Few minor increases, trying to keep up with the insurances and stuff like that, depending on what it goes out.
How about a tractor? You never did find a tractor, huh?
I do have one spotted, that I actually had one and it got away. I
You
wasn't
bid on that one, didn't
wasn't able to get there to look at it and stuff like that, so that one got away, it was sold to someone else. There is another guy that has one available that I'd like to really go look at. So,
Cause it isn't gonna be too long and you're gonna have
you? Little ditches.
right, That and even that cattail project, we should have a tractor
Yep.
when we're working out there too, so it would be useful to have one.
Did that mower go back with your lease tractor last year too, or did you buy the mower?
The mower is ours.
Okay.
We have the mower out there, yeah.
Okay.
You got rid of that big rotary one, right?
Yeah, we sold that on auction, yes. So, yeah, like I said, other than that, there's a few minor increases in some of that. The oil and the fuel one, that's always a mystery. Where do you put that number, you know?
Nothing's pre-bought on the fuel, is it?
No, not as of now. We were lucky enough to make it through this last go around here, and we filled the other day for $3.05 a gallon, so, we did pretty good on that deal. We were able to get through the high side of it and then. and make-
Diesel for 305?
Yeah. we got
Really?
a tank
Yeah,
load
when you said that he got a
Tanker
tanker.
load.
305 for
Yeah,
How many
for a
gallons?
second, like diesel.
How many gallons?
9,000.
For 305. Really?
No, and we bid it from three different places and they were all within a penny or two, so it was pretty competitive.
Huh, that's pretty damn good price.
I don't know, I'm spoiled, cause that one stretch during COVID when oil was like negative $12
Yeah.
a barrel for like a week, we filled fuel for like $1.49 in the well, I think that was the same year we did the new Strasburg tank. When Francis came in, we got the fuel for like $1.30 a gallon, you're just like, wow, that's like 1999 prices. It only was one tanker load though, it all rebounded, but for like one tanker, we like bought it for, I don't remember the exact number, don't quote it, it was low, like.
Say Russ, I'm figuring the health insurance at 18% increase, so I'm gonna change your 280 to 324.5.
Is that what you're kind of being told, Marlis, or are you just?
No, that's kind of, I'm not what I'm being told, we won't know until the legislators meet.
Right, I mean, so you don't know, but like the Association of Counties or
I don't wanna be
somebody,
Sure, no, they don't know either.
so nobody, okay.
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Pure speculation, okay.
Well, it is, because I know there's sometimes we've gotten burned, but then there's other times.
One
where it's-
time I got burned, I figured it at 18% and went up like almost 20%.
Then I know
20%.
there's sometimes where we figured like 10 or 12%, it was like 2%, so it can go the other way. but
Yeah.
I think
Lately,
last time
I
it went up
wouldn't count.
16 something,
Yeah,
and I figured 18, but you don't.
you're
wanna
probably in the
short
ballpark, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I was
yourself.
just
You don't wanna
curious.
short yourself.
No,
Any other questions?
Anybody have any? No? Madam or?
No,
Commander? No?
you're pretty close there.
Thank you. I think that's all I got unless you
That's all
guys,
you got?
that's,
I don't have any either, thanks, Rose.
How about, did you get any, did you ever, put any, request of, what's our administrative,
yes, we, as of now, we have 4 applications.
oh,
A couple seem to be pretty good ones from reading through them and stuff. They actually got forwarded up to Tanya this morning.
oh, good.
She's gonna review things and then take it from there, and she's gonna, I don't know how many people we need for the interview process and stuff, she's gonna let me know. And then we'll be
Okay.
proceeding with that as she,
Good,
so,
sounds good, Russ.
all right?
And
Okay.
what about the Langlers, they have that inspection out there.
Okay.
You guys all got copies of the pictures and stuff, like,
Oh,
in
yeah.
your packet today?
Yep.
So that dock's gotta be fixed somehow.
Those, I had to order that bumper that's for the dock there, that actually came in when I left this morning, that's here. So we will get out there in the near future and put that on, I just ordered both of them right away, so. And then the signs are on order as well, they had to order them, the handicap signs there.
The locks, Ken would have to put them on.
Yep, they did go out and put one on theirs, and the other 2 will put some on there of our own, so. It
Pretty
should be,
pretty
should
solvable
care of
for
it.
an inspection.
Yeah.
Pretty minor.
It went pretty good.
matter of a half a day out there messing around and we should have it back in order, so.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Is the
Anything
dock
else,
still
Mark?
in the water?
It is, but there was this weekend, it's so low, and then the mud and stuff keeps coming in from the main channel, so even if you get through the dock, then there's like another wall of sand or mud out there that they keep running into, so. it's,
What's the deal with Rice Lake?
I got a message back, they're putting a new dock in, they're running out of ramp out there too, so they had to put a wheeled dock, that's a skid dock, and it was falling off the end of the ramp.
Okay,
So they're putting a wheeled dock in, that Bob Fraley texted me back this morning, said they're putting it in today,
okay.
so that'll be good.
Well, who manages that then? We or
Well,
that?
it's our parking lot, and
yeah, Sam
We
does.
built the parking lot.
the Game and Fish does the ramp, they do the ramp and the dock, according to Russ.
Yeah, the road department puts the ramp in and stuff like that, or
No.
you guys didn't put that in?
Not at Rice Lake.
No, that's
Oh,
Game
no,
and
not
Fish.
Rice Lake, okay, yeah, I'm thinking Langley,
Langley's,
we
yeah,
do,
yeah.
yeah.
I thought since it was a county park, it was your responsibility.
No, I think Sam's the only one that does anything at Rice Lake, he does the cleaning or whatever and the garbage. and
Yeah,
stuff.
we do the east side of Beaver Bay and Langlers, we've been managing them two docks, but the Rice Lake one, I mean, we can, but we haven't been
We
taking
were
care
down
of
there
it.
Sunday and it's like you put your boat in and it's about a 3-foot step down to your pontoon from the dock, that's how high out of the water it was. It was like, I just beached it, I'm like, you're better off climbing on than trying to step down, so that's why that, somebody's gonna get hurt there.
Okay,
Okay, thanks.
see you guys later.
Next item is which one? We got the
Chairman?
Bay deal is done.
Mr.
Hey,
Chairman,
Commissioner
Mr.
Miller
Chairman?
and Commissioner Gardner.
Hey,
Oh,
so,
excuse me.
Robin, do you wanna talk? She did a little more research on some of those cemeteries, I figured.
Oh,
we're still thinking about it.
good.
I don't know if she's got something
No.
to share.
I don't know that much, but it's exactly what you're looking for, cause I got another email now earlier this afternoon. Somebody asking about, the Tenvick Cemetery, so then I just did other searching on this, what was it, Merkel?
Yes.
Right? I don't know if it's exactly what you need, but if you go to findagrave.com, it gives you a list of who should be buried there. So the only thing I could come up with is if you take the list of names and you can go, you know, if you can find them on the graves, and then you can mark off, okay, well, we know this person is there, we know that person is there. And then if, I don't know if you don't have a map, right?
There's some maps in that big book that Marcy
Okay.
has.
So say then you could, you know, map them out where they are if you wanted something like that, but at least you have a list of names. I believe there's 30 names,
In the Merkle.
in the Merkel Cemetery.
Is that the one right on Highway 83 there?
No,
That's not-
that's the one, it would be 6 miles west of Tempic.
So is that the one out by Gunya's kind of
No,
then?
that's Sand
No,
Hill.
that's a different
Man, there's a lot of cemeteries out there.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
A lot of deaths out east.
okay,
No, it's straight on the Tempic Road west and then a half mile north.
oh, half a mile north, okay, well, that's one, alright.
Huh. It's fenced or no?
It's fenced off.
Really?
Danny Longer does a nice job.
That's when the most dead.
Kept the fence up and.
Well, any information
got
is
that
good
just
information, cause I mean, we're kinda missing all this stuff, so.
Right, so like, yeah, I don't have anything physically in my office, but printed off a list of names and you can bring it up there and mark off who shows up and who doesn't or whatnot.
And there's
Right.
about
Yeah.
15 stones out there that are marked.
Oh, yeah.
The rest are not marked.
Okay, cause there's,
That's where they're
I
at.
think this said there's 30. So you can mark off who's.
There's so
who's
much of that
marked, but-
sandstone that was markers, and it's all road is.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Well, they probably have wooden crosses they found it in too.
Yeah, it's steel like down in Hague, that's all them steel crosses.
Well, that's good, Robin.
well, thanks, Robin.
Yeah, do you want to hold
Yeah.
on to this?
Yeah, I guess if anything, probably just give it to Josh over there, at least he,
Yeah, that's a pretty good,
Yeah, okay.
alright,
Thank you.
thank you.
way to search.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Robin.
Okay, when do we wanna go to item L? We're done with everything above, I think so.
Well, we didn't do Gary yet, but he's
Huh?
not here. Gary isn't here for another round.
yeah, we got this 911 thing, but he's not here to do that, so we're.
You wanna go to item, you guys?
We can do well. We had a special meeting regarding our, let's see, comprehensive plan. And we visited about that. And we come to the conclusion that we're thinking about hiring South Central Dakota Resource Council to aid us in our quest to finish this project. And Marla's got some information from them. And they would also help us with our zoning to get that completed. The quote she had was $15,000 to do both, is that correct?
Yep.
Yep.
Everybody should have a copy in their folder, I think.
Started off at 25 and they gave us a deal,
Yeah.
15.
We didn't even try to bargain with them, they just did.
Yeah, they just like us.
That tells me their price too high, is what it
Marla-
sounds like.
Marlis,
We need something to
she's
do.
got contacts.
Well, I think it'd be good to get, you know, even if you could just get a little bit of a blueprint that you could just edit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like at least it gets you closer and then instead of totally trying to just draft it from scratch, it makes.
Well, we use the old comprehensive book and there's a lot of information in there and we tried to decide whether we were gonna keep some in. It was almost like a blueprint of Emmons County and we didn't feel like we necessarily needed that anymore because the World Wide Web, there's so much information and if a company's coming in, they're gonna do their own research on a lot of stuff, but we kinda felt like if you'd hire a company that does this or a group that does this, it's probably gonna be done right and legal where you can actually stand on it instead of a bunch of farmers.
There's,
All of us sitting in a room, you know, businessmen and whatever else trying to come up with this and,
Not sure.
well, we're not sure. We're not
Well,
sure
there's
what to
no-
keep in, what to take out.
there's no guidelines on a comprehensive plan, what to put in, what to keep out.
Well, it's nice to have the broad strokes and they're probably gonna model it similar to some of these neighboring counties of ours, which is at least 75% of what we're gonna do is probably gonna be the same as Logan, McIntosh, and then you get into the little intricacies if
Yeah.
you wanna amend it, but it'd be a lot easier to amend 20 items than try and draft this thing from scratch, so I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
So you guys would support that?
Yeah.
The spending that money for this?
15,000.
I mean, cause without a comprehensive plan or an updated comprehensive plan,
We don't.
your solar moratorium really doesn't have a foot to stand on, no moratoriums, no zoning ordinance, nothing. I mean, it all goes back to your comprehensive plan.
And from what I understand, if they come into compliance with your ordinances that you have in place, and you don't have this in place. if
Well,
they're
we
in
do have
compliance-
one in place, it's just
It's old,
severely.
yeah, it's
Yeah, I
outdated.
would call it outdated, I mean, it's
Yeah.
probably still germane to what we've been working on, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's definitely probably needs to be some updates.
The back of the book, all the stuff that wrote down for visions and everything else
The
still
vision
applies
is-
exactly to where we're
yes.
at today. It's
Is it?
just- Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
They did a really good job on that.
Yeah, this is the book, yeah.
Mhm.
You can read the back area and
Okay, I've got that, can you read the back of it?
it's
Right.
it still applies to today. But we just feel like we could beat our heads against the wall and have 50 meetings in a year.
And still be where we are
Yeah,
today.
and probably not get it accomplished.
Yep.
Like you said, Aaron, we're not a poor county. This would be money well invested.
Well, I think, like you said, if the overall strategy for the county is that we're trying to get value from these projects, then you have to have a pathway to let you know, you can't have old outdated stuff and then expect them to pay, you know, these permit fees and stuff too. I mean, we have to be going in a direction, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so this is part of that, and then, like I said, the same thing with how we utilize the money, I mean, if we're just gonna be the guys scrooging it away, then we're gonna get a bad reputation of just gouging people, we don't use the money, you know, and like utilizing it to benefit the
Benefits.
county, updating the comprehensive plan, so the vision is like understood of like,
Well, and people are not afraid of economic development, they wanna make sure our zoning ordinances are correct, so that we
Right.
don't get a company that comes in here and we've got a foundation out of town that they started something and left.
They do
You know, I
these.
mean, we just don't wanna have something like that happen, so we wanna make sure that what we're putting in place is gonna actually hold up and we're gonna attract good companies that wanna do business with the county instead of just bypass the whole
Yeah,
county and do
right.
business here without anybody.
you guys are gonna spend $15,000 trying to have enough
Oh, God,
meetings
yeah.
to figure out how to draft this
Yeah.
anyway, and you still might not even get it the way you like. it.
Absolutely.
So I mean, you're not really expending
That's
any
a
money.
small
You're-
investment.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, you're just taking a shortcut and
I
having
mean,
somebody that does
this
it all
might
the
not be
time.
the end of it, but this is gonna get
It's a
us.
starting
where we
point.
need to be, yeah, we might have to spend a little bit more, but at least it's gonna be right.
Well, and I would just make sure that Emmons County has its fingerprints on it though too, because some of these generic ordinance books and everything too, they don't always, you guys are finding out that they don't always fit what we're looking to do either. you know.
Well,
We got an email from Joe last night, he went through another one from a neighboring county, it does
It
not
was-
fit us
it was
whatsoever.
divides, right, and then
Yeah.
divides, zoning and ordinance book, and then McIntosh County adopted it, and we had
Yeah.
looked at it, because that's the one Francis had brought in.
Right,
And, Joe took it home and looked at it, and he's like, you guys, there's
don't even go near.
less in common with this whole 89 pages than more in common. He says, I wouldn't
Right.
use this thing at all.
Well, that's the only thing I would just tell you is to be a little weary of it, or
Yeah.
like when this process starts going, if there's opportunities for input, or once it's done, just, make sure we're not just rubber stamping
Right.
someone else's
Yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah.
Cause that would be counterproductive, what
Yeah,
we're trying to do, so.
We've got our group is diversified. We've got almost all ages. I mean, we've got
Yeah.
young and we've got, some of us older guys that are getting up there. And
Probably 30 to 70, I'd say.
yeah, and I mean, we've got some on both sides, I think, of the political spectrum, and we are collectively, I think we get along really well, and we really brainstorm really well, so I think this is a good group. I think we can get a lot accomplished with with a little bit of funding and some, I mean, this was Marlis's idea, that we should look into these guys, and we were all like, absolutely.
Well, everybody kept telling, when I first called them, well, we've been doing mitigation plans and we've been doing zoning ordinance, charging like 25,000 for that and 25,000 for comprehensive.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden I told them, put a quote together, they came down with it. So I don't know. I don't know why, do they need business, do they wanna get their,
Well, maybe they wanna
Going
hook us and try to
here
get more,
again, I don't
which is
know.
fine if they do a good job and it's good, what the heck, the money we can spend on Joe doing all this research and us.
Well, that's what I mean, if you guys start having all your different meetings and you start going to meetings 3 times a month, cause you need to get it done, you're gonna spend this money.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be far off. You're
I
about-
was
Basically
looking for
$1,000
grants
a
too,
meeting is what-
Alright, with the amount of members you have, and then like you said.
I was looking for grants, I contacted Lewis Clark Development, they would have a grant for us to use. I contacted, Department of Commerce, Dr. Kevin Iverson up there. Mary tried to find some homeland security, she came up empty, there's just no grants out there right now.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna spend some money, but it's never gone without somebody looking for money. Marlis is always looking for money from somewhere else, but.
And there's nothing right now, I mean, otherwise I applied for it.
Yeah, I got it, because the state was allocated 24.5 million of Interstate 94 to extend another 20 miles east. Well, then it was a Cattail Bay guy said, well, there's money out there, just a matter of you guys finding it. And I said, well, as soon as you find it, you can eartag it for the Cattail Bay Road development. We'll certainly take a look at it. And then he said, well, come on out. He said, I want to visit with you. Visit me this weekend. I said, oh, it'll be a discussion on Cattail Bay Road. I mean, I'm not that I'm against it, but we're doing whatever we can do.
Yeah.
And, yeah, that's just the way it
Spending a lot of
is.
money on 2 miles of
Yeah,
road.
2 miles of
I
road.
mean, it's heavily traveled. It's kind
We
of like
know
our,
that.
it's kind of like our thought here with this money that came out of this road that goes up to the county shop and the golf course and
Yeah.
the rifle range and, 6 nice houses out there and whatever else. It's a lot of money to spend on a short amount of road, but we try to do what we can do. I mean, we are trying to utilize grant money and do what we can do, but. I know I got a lot of messages about a year ago too from a landowner and he was, what about this fund? What about this fund? And yeah, we have applied for that. There's a lot of other counties in this state. It's not
We're not
we're
the only
guys
one.
standing in line. Yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't realize Wold Engineering, literally, either their engineers are already trained in that, or they literally have people on staff that search for grants, cause
Yeah.
you don't get projects without funding.
Yeah.
That's right.
These engineering firms aren't coming in here going, oh, I didn't even know you could apply for that. They already tell you, like,
Yeah.
this road qualifies for 4 different deals, And that usually, if you look back in the minutes, they have us authorized to apply for SRF and
Yeah.
game and fit, all these different grants, these guys know about.
They come to us, hey, it's time to apply, we need to sit down
That's
and go
why we
through the
hire
bridge." Yeah, we
engineering
did.
firms.
Remember that out there in the shop?
You hire engineering firms, so they not only design you a project, they help you figure out how to pay for it.
Exactly,
You're on the city board.
Yeah.
Nobody knows better than these city engineers. You're not gonna get a street paved in Lytton or Hazelton or anything unless you find out there's an 80-20 cost split.
yep,
Cause as soon as they tell you $5 million, you laugh them out of the room until you find out that 85% is paid for.
Soon as the legislators pass a bill, there's gonna be flex funding or prairie dog money, these engineers are calling,
oh, yeah, they're all
It's
over
there,
it.
let's go.
They know.
Of course.
They know where the
So,
grave
they
is.
wanna
Like,
get that
the
business.
insinuation that we don't talk about some of these specific funds in the meeting means we don't know about them, like, it's really not even our job to know about them, honestly, they educate us.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's good to
And I
know
was
about them.
told, I was told at some like auditor conferences where the DOT's talking that if you have an engineer apply for that, they already have their preliminary stuff done, your chance of getting a grant is more.
Yeah, yeah,
positive
yeah.
than,
15
you know,
I think we probably have
I
to.
think you should.
No, and Walt does a good job.
They do.
Yeah, they do a very good job.
I guess I would make,
Go ahead, Eric.
I would make a motion to, I guess, approve for the zoning board to enter into an agreement with South Central Dakota Regional Council to develop a comprehensive plan and ordinances, and to accept the proposal of $15,000 to do so.
Okay, is there a second to what Aaron just presented to the board?
I'll second it to get discussion going.
Mr. Van Ors?
No,
Miller?
Miller.
All in favor?
Right?
Alright.
What do you wanna talk about?
Well, we're gonna have a meeting with them to see what we all get out of this $15,000.
Oh,
You wanna meet with them first?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
I wanna see
Well,
what
I
we
mean,
get.
we'll take the approval. This might not, like I said, this might not be the end. This might just be if
The
it,
intent of my motion was to give you guys the approval,
authority.
since I'm assuming you don't have the funding. Like,
Right.
the zoning board does
Right.
not have the
right,
15.
exactly.
I'm basically, my statement or my intent of the motion is to give you guys approval to enter in that agreement.
Yeah.
If you guys decide it's the right move for the
Right.
zoning board.
Well, I'm just saying, we wanna have a meeting
Yep,
first.
no,
and then-
I would
We
assume
got
that you
approval,
guys are
that's
gonna
fine.
handle this, but I have no problem if you guys, if they pass your vetting process and you decide you wanna enter an agreement.
Right,
So that would be the intent of my
Yeah.
motion. If somebody-
Yeah.
So when they come for the first time, just to the planning and zoning board
right,
or here?
Yeah, just to us, I think.
right.
I think these guys trust us. enough
I
to
would
make
say
that
leave it to the
decision.
zoning board, but I mean, as far as authorizing the funds, I'm fine with that, and if they wanna utilize them, then that's the zoning board's.
So there was a motion by Aaron, a second by Mr. Van Ors?
no, Mr. Miller.
Miller?
Whatever.
Okay, don't really matter. And the discussion's taken care of. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment opportunity pursuant to.
Well, there was another thing on here,
What?
that we wanted to bring up to you guys. So there are a few members that are on this board that are required to be on there, or that help us out.
Oh, right.
Josh, Marlis, Johansson, these guys are not paid at all. And our meetings aren't necessarily always during their work hours. We're doing 7:30 to whenever in the morning now. We were doing 3 to whenever. We've done a special meeting at 7 at night. And we all just kinda talked and didn't think it was necessarily right if it's outside of their business hours that they're not getting paid for that meeting. I mean, they're getting nothing for it. It's just an additional duty. So,
And you guys are being paid more.
we're getting $100
So you're making a,
killing.
yeah. So you'd like to see these guys each get 100.
Well, I think it's only fair that the people that show up, I mean, if it's during 8 to 5 or whatever their business hours are, whatever, but are we gonna sit and mince all this together and make a big deal out of it? I mean, one way or another, in my opinion, they should be compensated for something, cause it's a substantial amount of extra work for all of them, and, you know, you see these guys, they show up early or stay late for these meetings, and then they're late doing the rest of their job, so they're putting in extra time to finish what
Their own work, yeah.
I don't know, I just think it was brought to my attention that they weren't getting anything, and I don't necessarily think it's fair that they should have to be thrown on a board and get zero compensation outside of their work hours at a minimum.
Well, you needed to have a county commissioner on the human service zone, you know, and I served on that board. I still got paid as a member of that board. I wasn't, cause I was a commissioner, I got paid. You know, I mean, it wasn't like, well, you're already a commissioner, you're getting paid. I still got paid as a separate member of the board. I feel like if you're gonna take on the position of the administrator of the zoning board, that's another job.
It is.
And so there should probably be a compensation set for that, whatever, you know, I mean, I'm fine with that, because like you said, Josh probably isn't statutorily responsible for that position, he took that job, like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, you as a commissioner need to be on that board, I mean, you're getting paid, and you're a commissioner, you're technically supposed to be on that board, you still get paid, which I'm fine with, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
it's an additional duty, I've served on a lot of boards. $100 probably isn't even enough, but at least it
It's
makes it
something.
easier to swallow.
yeah,
Cause otherwise, yeah, if you're coming in, if Josh normally don't get to work till 8:30, but he's gotta be in there at 7:30 that day, man, it's asking more, that's.
I'm good, like, I use that as an excuse to ask for a step increase. I mean, I don't think I should get a whole grade because of this extra stuff, you know, but if you don't do an extra $100 a month, the step increase is probably $100 some dollars a month extra for me anyways, but.
The only reason I would avoid the step increase is because there's no guarantee that your position will always fill that position. I'd like to, you know what I mean, cause it's kinda like the same thing with like Gary being the 911 coordinator, there's no guarantee the sheriff will do that. So you can't really incorporate it into their wage, cause if they don't take it, now you gotta try and figure out, well, I gotta take a step away, cause you're not the coordinator, well, that's not really how you wanna do it, I'd like to keep Josh's Emmons County position separate from the zoning board requirement, that's where I feel like it'd be cleaner.
and I just, like I said, I just wanted to bring it to your guys' attention, see if we can
No.
rectify that.
And I don't have a problem with that at all.
No,
One bit.
well, I make a
That's
motion,
my
we
opinion.
add $100 every meeting, Josh, Marlis, and Joe.
You wanna back pay him or not?
Oh,
I'll
This is up to
second the
You need
motion,
a back pay.
well, I guess.
I'll
Yeah,
second the
back
motion
pay.
so we can discuss it, I guess in my opinion, I wouldn't back pay it.
Okay.
Back pay.
Just
That's
because it's clumsy. I think going forward, you're solving the problem. I think the zoning board can meet and discuss what that reimbursement is, cause it's no different than the weed board and their employees, right? You should operate as a board. You know, going forward, once you have your own budget and everything's working out, you can solve that, but I mean, I would agree with Jim's motion, the $100, whatever the board members get paid, I guess. I'm fine with that for budgeting sake now, but even going forward, like, that'll just kinda be a board decision.
Yeah,
Technically, I would view them in your meetings as employees of the zoning board then, and then so that way their pay compensates for their time there, whether that's Joe, Marlis, Josh, cause there's no guarantee that any one of those people will still serve in that position. You might get counsel outside of the state's attorney someday or something, well, then now the state's attorney's getting paid for meetings you don't go to, like, so I would make it so that it's based on attendance.
Yes.
It's based on
It
attendance.
is based on
Yeah,
attendance, yes.
Well, and maybe not necessarily attendance specifically, but like, that's their job,
Yeah,
like, their job is to be there for the
That's,
zoning board.
yeah, that's
That's
specific,
right.
position.
And that way down the road, you don't have it entangled into their monthly salary for their regular duties.
Well, if they're not there, they don't get paid, that's all.
What's that?
If they're not there, they don't get paid.
Well, right, but I didn't mean it strictly on just attendance, but like, if Josh is the guy, and that's his job, and like, you know, whatever, I mean, but.
There was a motion by
Yeah.
Mr. Edwards, was
I
there a
second
second?
it.
You
Yeah.
seconded?
yeah.
No more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Gary's here if you wanna do that 911 thing.
Go ahead, Gary. You wanna address that 911 deal?
Oh, memorandum of understanding?
Yeah.
Yeah, I sure can. I kinda touched base on it during my budget for 911. What that is basically the new, memorandum going forward for the next annual biennium for the state. We're on a 2-year contingency, budget basically that starts July 1st. So, basically it is the agreement for state radio to provide those 911 services for dispatching purposes for fire, EMS, law enforcement. The rate is, $1.59 per line. Like I said, we collect
$2 a line, 50 cents of that $2 is dedicated to the Saturn radio project, leaving a balance of $1.50 and $1.59 is paid to state radio. It's not self-sufficient, the 911 program, and it is not self-sufficient anywhere in the state, whether it's Cass County, Worley County, none of them collect enough to support that service, but it is an essential service, obviously, when someone needs assistance. So, that's pretty much what it is. And it's just for them to continue doing what they've been doing since about 1995, I guess, 94, 95, when they took that over.
It's not a money maker deal.
I'll make a motion.
I had it right.
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Gardner made a motion.
Accept the memorandum of agreement.
Okay, Mr. Gardner makes a motion to accept the memorandum of agreement, is there a second to it? Mr. Vanderwerf, any other discussion? If not, all in favor? Opposed, motion carried.
Thank you. And then if you would sign that, Mr. Materi, and then I'll have to forward that back to the state at some point then this week. Sorry, call me back. If I could back up a little bit on the agenda, did you guys discuss that, section line 55th Street?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, is that resolved?
We decided not to touch it, let them litigate it amongst the two landowners.
Okay, just in case I get more calls on it, where we at on that, I guess?
Evidently, that's the way we talked about
Same
it,
thing when you
correct?
came in here last time, applies,
Yeah.
that road's been traveled, he pulled up a map since the 50s. Right. So it's an established trail, if he wants to change that, he can deal with the landowners, or if he wants to fence it, we're not touching it with a 50-foot pole, so. He can do what he has to do, and he can, we'll wait. When you say he's a complainant or the landowner? Either or, anybody, whoever, we're not touching it, period. Gotcha. Okay.
That's for an attorney to litigate.
Yeah, I know our state's attorney was made aware of it, and I don't know if you weighed in on it or not, or the legality, I don't know.
I thought the Rob Stins would be here after doing I spoke.
Yeah, so I was kind of under that impression too.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't know, so. I know there was a similar case like that, out by Cattail Bay a few years ago, with Chagowski and Humber and Van Meek.
Yep.
Kind of the same thing, where you had to traverse off the section line.
Yep.
To avoid a ravine, and it broke a tree to come back down, and it became a very hot topic between the parties involved. So this is kind of a similar type of issue, but yeah.
And that trail's been there for 55,
It
60
is, yeah, I don't think anybody disagrees with that, so. They're concerned, the complainant was concerned that if he fences that off and does not allow them now to traverse around that ravine and the trees, how are they gonna get access? And all the other property owners to the east of there, so.
And there's a lot of property going back there.
Yeah, there's at least 3 other people that at least pasture ground back in there for their cattle and stuff, so. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
And then you guys have not discussed Liners Bay inspection?
Yep, we're done with that.
You did, okay. If I could bring up something on that issue, and I've had conversations with several people about accessibility to Liners Bay. Right now, it's extremely limited in Emmons County to get access to Lake Oahe at any of our boat ramps, whether that's Cattail, Beaver Bay, Liners Bay, well, Jennerville's right the channel, you can get access there, obviously. And if we don't get snow in the mountains, which pretty much accounts for 80% of that water in Lake Oahe, we may not even have access next year. It's a concern I think everybody shares with that. So my question is, would the county, I'd like to start a conversation between Emmons County, Game and Fish, State Game and Fish, and the Corps of Engineers about the possibility of dredging like Langlers Bay from the boat ramp out around that peninsula to the lake itself. That could be done somewhere in the future, you know, they got more water years in the winter months. They won't do it. Okay.
So I've got a buddy that's got a cabin out at State Line. He called the Game and Fish and spoke to, I can't remember his name, brought that up right off the bat, and the guy said, it won't work. He said, you can dredge it, by the weekend it'll be blown back in. He said, it just doesn't work. He was in favor of a low boat ramp that was brought up multiple times here. He said, the state Game and Fish will work with the Corps to get all the permits. They will do the ramp. They will put the dock in. They'll take care of everything. If the county would be willing to build the road down there or some type of road. There's a spot to the south of Langler Bay between the State Line Resort and another little campground that you can get down through. He was all, he said, he'd be willing to come down and meet with like us and Russ and the Corps and everybody to talk about it. We just have to be willing to spend some money and I think we could get some donations. Voices Lake Hawaii's got money. I mean, there are places that would give some money to help build a road because Gary's right. We don't get snow and chances are we're in that cycle. You may not be able to get into this river in North Dakota except maybe at Jennerville, which is kind of in the middle of everything and it's not ideal for a lot of people.
Well, yeah, and I've been, I made a call down to South Dakota Game and Fish, and I talked to the game warden based on Old Ridge. So even if you launch at Pollock right now is 4.5 feet at the end of the boat ramp. I was there Sunday or Saturday. If you launch in Pollock and you go to North Dakota to fish, which from Pollock up to the State Line Resort is about 10 minutes on a boat, 15 minutes on a pontoon, you're there. You still have to possess a South Dakota
North Dakota.
fishing license. Even if you don't fish in South Dakota,
You still have to have it.
you still have to have a license to possess those fish. And then you have to be in compliance with South Dakota's limits, which are 4 walleye and only 1 over 20 inch. But that non-resident fishing license right now, I believe, is $110 per person.
For you as a
So,
resident, it's what, 70?
as a resident
Yeah.
in South
North
Dakota?
Dakota or
Yeah.
South Dakota?
What's it cost for North Dakota? What's your license in North Dakota?
Right now, I think it's like $40.
I think it's
30.
I think it's 18 or 20 for just an.
Yeah, probably.
fishing.
Yeah, it's
Most
just
people do
general
a
fishing.
combination, $52.
Yeah, exactly, it's pretty reasonable, but for non-resident in South Dakota, it's $110, plus there's a daily parking fee at the campground there, because it is a state park, they charge a camping fee of $10 a day, $60 annually. So to even fish from, like I said, launch there and go to North Dakota and fish, it's still gonna cost you $110 per person for that fishing license, even though you don't fish in South Dakota. But the main reason is just accessibility to Lake Hawaii. The water's there, and once you get out there, it's not a problem navigating, it's the boat ramp area, it's trying to get off and into the boat ramp area, it's gonna be tough. If we end up in a dry cycle where we don't get that snow, it's gonna be tough.
Matt in Beaver Bay said, when you go down to that dock,
Yeah.
they son of a gun, there's nothing left there.
Right, it's
Gorgeous. but
So
there's
that was
nothing there.
proposed about 3 or 4 years ago. Or were you guys, you weren't on
No.
board, no?
No,
I was
I
in that
talked to
meeting with
KJ.
you, where KJ Moser was in there.
Yeah, I talked to
The
KJ
guy
about it
from
a
the
little
Corps.
bit.
So right on the other side, like on the other side of them couple trees in the ridge, I think there might even be like a ATV trail from the parking lot.
Yep.
You can get through there, and that's the only spot that a low water ramp will work. And even with that ramp has to be about like 100 feet long, 150 feet long.
Probably.
It's long because the way they measure the channel, the depth, like a launching depth
Yeah.
is in quite a ways, cause it's actually really flat and then it drops.
And I think
So-
this Game and Fish guy was involved in that, cause he
Well,
knew exactly where they were talking.
It's all feasible, yeah, there's a trail right there, like if you fall, yep.
That
So
trail there,
That trail, I believe, is still on the property, like the lease property, I don't think
You're looking
that's,
at Langford Bay there?
Yep.
Yeah.
that's Langley there, so. On the other side of them shrubs and all that, and then there's that beach point there, that's where you would go. And so what they had proposed before is they were gonna use, it was either, I think it was timbers. And they have timbers and they basically make a ramp that could wash away down the road, or you know what I mean, you put them in, and they'll help place them and everything. The biggest issue is if you want it done for, let's just say spring next year, you need to get on the list now.
Yeah,
Because it always comes up with us in like April, May, June,
too late.
too late. Cause the Kakawea is like, them guys are on top of it, as soon as the water looks like it's low, they start applying. Cause they'll furnish a lot of the materials and there's really very little cost to the county, other than, like you said, you might have to blade that trail up a little
Right.
bit. You might have to supply them a guy in a skid loader for a half a day to help out or something, but they'll actually, the Game and Fish has crews that go around and do
That
this.
will do that.
Mhm.
And I think the other part would be the procuring of the permits from the Corps, that would be good for more
Right,
than a year, I
and the
think. so
Corps
that you
helped
could
out
use
with
them.
that proposal,
Yeah.
like the Corps works hand in hand with
Yeah.
this stuff, so it's
This guy
very
states
easy
that
to
he'll
get
take care of
done.
Everything.
Other than that, it's very difficult for even us to do the work, because a part of the whole thing is the Game and Fish knows how to do this, where we might send some guys in and we not even get it right, so it's kinda good to work with them, so I would suggest, if you're serious, we basically need to request it now for April, May of next year.
Well, how's the board feel about it? I mean, I
Let's come
know
up
I'm
with one.
serious, and I've gotten people telling me they're very serious about this,
Yeah.
and they've made the phone calls, and the Game and Fish has said, we'll do everything but the road, we need the county's support on the road or some of the cost share.
And how much of a stretch is that?
If I remember right, it was like 100 feet in, no,
Oh,
like,
so it's not.
well, so like from where that road ends, then there's the beach.
Yeah.
From like the water's edge, it was like 100 feet in though, cause it's really flat there.
I think that's a cutback now, I think that got it voted out. I don't-
Well, it might have changed, but at that time, cause the reason why it didn't get done was one, it was late in the year, cause June, July is already kinda too late for a lot of these requests. Unless they could do it this fall maybe, once they're caught up, but they told us that you're basically about 6 months to a year out when you make a request.
Yeah, and I
like
think
you-
we're really looking for maybe to have this done in the spring.
Right, so I think it would be very smart to at least make the request now and
You
have them
guys
start putting a
support it,
proposal
though?
together.
You do support that?
I mean, we were gonna do it a couple
Okay.
years ago, but they basically told us they didn't have the resources, and then we were like, well, we don't know how to do it.
I
so-
will get a hold of Jamie Reichman, who made the first contact.
Yeah.
He's been working with the Game and Fish, and I will tell him that we would support it, and maybe a couple of us and Russ can meet these guys out there.
Yeah,
I'll see if I can.
Cause
Is
do
that
that.
Jim Reitman's kid, Jamie?
Yeah.
I'm assuming what you'll have to do is you'll have to make basically like a motion in this meeting, have like a formal request. And that's a part of, that kickstarts a whole process, but the Game and Fish is willing to do it, at least they were, I
Yeah.
mean,
Well,
that project
actually,
was.
we've already got an agreement to maintain Langler Bay, and we
Yep.
have for years. And now is the time to have that conversation, like you said, because to get the ball rolling and get things in motion.
You could have access next spring if you do it now.
But that is
Okay.
something to
So we'll
do.
get cracking on it, and then we can bring some information back to the commission and see what we can get going.
Yeah,
I just wanted to make
if
sure
the
you
water
guys
comes up in
support
the
it, too.
meantime, another thing that happened is I think the water came up the next spring, so then we're like,
Yeah.
don't have to do it.
Which wouldn't be a hard
And so
break.
it kinda died, but now here it is again.
It's gonna be an ugly
Yep.
year or two if it doesn't come back up.
Agreed.
You know, like I said, trying to extend that boat ramp at Langler's and leave dredging that out, but when I talked to the Corps, they said, well, you can dredge it, but what they told me at that time was that anything that's pulled out of that bay has to be removed from the bay, you just can't put
You
it
just
somewhere
can't
else in
put
the
it on
bay,
the shoreline.
which doesn't make any sense to me, but that's what he was telling me.
And that's the way they are.
And you also can't bring any
Yeah, that's-
material in from
and
another area
no
either,
way
there's a
to-
weird,
That
like,
state guy told Jamie, he said, we just don't do it anymore on the river, it just blows right shut everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
That Langwood Bay is a nice spot when you and I go back with that dock.
I'd say it's worth pursuing.
okay. Yeah, it's just the stainless steel toilet seat out there on the pit toilet, right?
There you go.
But when you gotta go, you'll go.
That nobody does.
Well, the nice thing with Langler is you've got Ainsley asphalt there, a lot of people don't wanna travel 7-8 miles of gravel with their boat, and
Yeah.
things get shipped
That's
all the heck.
Yep.
Dirty, and then even down at Jennerville, which has still got access. Somebody was down there this weekend, there was about 12 units there, but parking is a mess.
Limited. and-
Very, very limited, and that road is to the point where even if you meet somebody, especially with a pontoon or a big boat,
Yeah.
who gets over? Because when you drop an axle over the side, you're gonna
That's
damage
what, 4
something.
miles of gravel about too, maybe?
How many?
3-4 miles?
Oh, that's probably closer to 8 miles.
Is it?
Back-
Jennerville?
Yeah.
Really?
That's down from the.
It's at least 6.
Okay.
Jennifer's down from the river. you know.
I'll take 6. 8 seems like a little.
Yeah, and that's just it, and that parking there, at Jennerville, right?
River, that's Jennifer.
That's
Yeah.
Jennerville, okay.
And it's,
And it's gnarly
Yeah.
down there.
So when you go past Martin's or where Wade Bonnet's building that house.
Yeah.
so,
Right there.
yeah, that road's
That's
pretty
where
narrow,
it's
and if you
built
meet
right there,
somebody,
so you
somebody's
just
gonna
keep
have to
going.
back up and.
Then you go through the trees, you can scrape your boat on the trees, and then you get the, yeah, no,
This was-
everybody
yeah,
loves
who's-
Jennifer.
Is it a nice spot?
It's sweet when you're down there, but you gotta get in there, you know,
You
the
gotta get in
road,
there.
the road is
Yeah,
steep,
you
it's
park on
narrow,
the beach, you
yeah.
spin a tire, you're gonna be screwed.
Yep.
You're gonna be-
I've never.
Yeah, there you go into
Yeah,
Jennifer,
so
it's
that's
like
kind
Alice
of
in Wonderland.
coming in there.
Oh, right there.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Jennifer,
it's
getting
narrow,
in there's
it's-
fun.
One-way
So if you
traffic.
meet somebody, one of them.
Well, is it
gotta
posted
back
that
up
there's
a
a
little
boat
bit.
Right, you remember Kim Lee? that
Metal
was-
ramp.
You remember Kim Lee that was in there?
Yeah.
His house is right there, his
Yeah.
house is, I mean, I think he could probably see the boat landing from his house.
But yeah, no, Jennerville's got good access, but that road going in there's not fun.
Right, the best. It's a steep one.
Yeah, it's steep.
It's funny, they've never pushed
Yeah, it's
everything
real,
out.
it's right turn, left turn, right
Yeah.
turn, left turn to get in
And
there.
really, it's only utilizing these low water years.
Yeah.
You know, in a
Otherwise-
rainy year, it's not utilized very often.
Everybody goes to Beaver or Langlers if
Right.
they can. Jennerville's where you go when you have to.
Cattail, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Cattail is
cattail.
able to get in up, but you have to be very careful and stay in that channel or you're not gonna make
Yeah,
it.
Cattail's got a nice dock too, but yeah, if you don't have the water.
Yep.
Yeah.
Langlers is awesome. I mean, it really is. It's a nice.
Are you gonna contact Reitman?
Yeah, I'll talk to him.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. At least get that conversation going now, get the wheels in motion,
Yeah.
so if we
Yeah.
can do something, then,
Yeah, if we
You
start
guys
talking
have
about
to
it in
place.
March next year, it's too late already.
Yeah. Okay,
okay, that's all I
sounds
got.
good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
Anything else that I'm missing, Gary? Public comment opportunity pursuant to Senate Bill 2180.
Anybody have a comment?
Anybody has a comment?
Let's take a seat quick. Thanks for your time today, Commission. I've been up to the courthouse 3 times. This is the 3rd time this week. My name's Brad Blair. I'm from Bismarck. I own a property at Cattail, so I appreciate your work on the road out there. The other thing that I was going to talk about was my property on, it's section 5 township 130, range 79, as we get onto the docket for next month. The road there was moved in and I was actually gonna talk to Marlis about this when that road was moved. It was moved in 2017 on that end property, right there. And, to see about where that road is actually supposed to be, I was in contact John McCrory, who's my north neighbor. I happen to know him pretty well. And he had originally got that road moved to the south. I think it was supposed to move 10 feet. I think it moved 40 feet,
How many feet?
probably 40. So that, my property pin in the northwest, I can find that property pin, the one in the northeast I cannot. And I think it's because when they initially did the grade, and I should have talked to Russ too when he was here, is that when they initially did that, that road was actually, it was north of the property line, and then it was to move south, and it's moved, it's on the verge of 40 feet or more from that property. It starts off great, and then it just keeps curving south. And it really it affects where we put our stuff, but we also wanted to put some stuff up, but we can't delineate exactly where we can put anything. Because the property line is there, 33 feet off the center, would delineate where we could actually put a fence or anything else. But if I go off that center line, I'm quite a ways in. So that was, that's probably the earlier.
16
Yeah,
and then 2020.
yeah.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I calculated at a quarter acre is what it actually is pulled in from where the property line is to where it is. And it actually, I think, affected where my neighbor had put his place because there's that offset off of a county road when you build. And so we were trying to stay off of that, but then we're off the center, so it actually pushed everything south for him. And his shed is actually built up 8 feet when he could have probably put it a little bit further north, but he didn't. I didn't realize until I found my property pin really this spring, so. That northwest one, I know where my other ones are, I just was struggling to find that one, so. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I'll probably, meet down with Marlis or somebody in Marlis's office to get on for next month, and I'll bring you some more information on it if you'd like.
What was your last name again, sir?
Beyer, Beyer.
Sure, thank you.
Good.
Buyer.
And I'll actually be in contact with John too, I'll call him on my way back and talk to him about it, cause he was generous enough to talk to me about moving it the first time. So I think it needs to be, reciprocated back to him too, so.
What, do you know the reason why the road needed to get moved in the first place?
It didn't, John and I had the conversation probably back in 2017. I'm not really sure, I was gonna look for the agenda from earlier, but I couldn't find it online. And he had brought it to the commission to get it moved, and I think it's because there's no ditch there. So it was a flat road,
Yeah.
and so we always had the snow issue.
Yep.
So he wanted it moved onto the correct spot before anybody developed in the Rudy subdivision. So that was all as a subdivision where a dead end sign right here, and then as you drove back, I think there was no ditch there, so he wanted that built up as a true section line county road. Cause it was so flat, and then the maintainer would have to go down there, and you'd have 8-foot snow drifts and whatever else, it was crazy. And so they wanted that to be elevated and moved to its correct position. The correct position was about 10 feet, I think it moved 40, I think it was 42.
Well, I mean,
got my measurement,
Didn't
but-
seem like there was anything wrong with it.
I'm not an engineer or nothing, but just judging by the aerial photos, it looks like whoever built that, because that looks like whereabouts it roughly should have been, or at least.
It was, I
You know, and it
would
probably was-
contend that it was correct the first time, it probably needed
It
to
was a
move
lot
10 feet.
closer anyway.
Yeah, it was a lot closer than it is now, it
Yeah.
probably needed to move 10 feet, and instead it's moved.
Right.
Did he get a permit for that? or-
Well, cause even look at how it had to create a jog at that like intersection now, like, you know what I mean, like, that's not even like a T, it's like a Y,
Yeah,
like, what in the?
Yeah, that,
and I was asking, Mr. Oden here too about like engineering on it, if there was any engineering to actually delineate where that road went. And I don't know that there is, I think it was a, sight of line kind of idea. Like, hey, we're gonna build this road here, and we're just gonna do it by eyesight. And it ended up getting really messed up in the middle and coming way south.
how
Well,
many
in
people live back
27
there year round?
Oh, where I'm down there pretty much year round.
I mean, so you actually do have to have some snow removal back
Oh,
in
yeah,
there.
there's 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
At
Well,
least
then there's a
3.
place to the
Actually,
north there,
I have Mark do a lot of that.
there's a
Mark
place to the
Harrell.
north, right, you go way in there, yep, cause I've been up to that place before.
And that's Gerald and Michelle, and then John owns the parcel there.
Yeah, so I mean, there's some development in that part, so. Yeah, well, in 2017, would it maybe been Old Engineering or maybe Bartlett and West? Maybe, because that was before my time even, and those were the two engineers we were always kind of dealing with, so.
During the build of this road, there was never a stake in the ground, so that's why when they said they're moving it, I came out one weekend and it was done.
Looks like it.
So then.
Yeah, it looks like it got done in about 2 days, right, yeah.
It was probably less than 2 weeks, cause we were out the week before, and then the next week
Yeah.
we came back.
After pro pack, that looks about right there.
Yeah, and
Plow
actually,
that sucker.
what it is, plow it.
and I think it lines up with like the Strasburg Market Road. It's 90th Street Southwest, so it lines up, and you can look up the hill and you're like, this is just,
It's
it's
so
weird.
deceiving, so
It's deceiving, but it's like, it doesn't quite look right. And then when I found my property stake, I was like, well, geez, that's quite a ways off. So, and in fact, the middle of that road, I think, is probably 33 feet off of where that property line is. So that's where that ditch would be.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause that's up through estimation measurement and stuff like that, that's where I can get to about.
Well, I'd make us think about it too.
Well, what's nice is you found your property pins, that makes it a little easier to figure out where 33 feet from your property line
Yeah,
is.
and I measured it back, and so it's a little bit on the south side of that road. It's just cut off,
Oh, that's it.
and so
GPS used on that.
Who did the dirt work, you know?
I couldn't tell you, I think it was the county
Oh,
at the time, it was, I don't know who it was, so I can't say that for certain, so.
okay.
Yeah, I'd say we'll have to have Russ go down and take a look at it and just kind of see, if they got some measuring equipment or something, just try and get a,
Yeah,
you just get a bearing of what's going on down there, and if, something.
The sooner it's addressed, the better it is.
Yeah, no, I would say, and thank
No
you for
doubt.
bringing it to our attention, for
Yeah,
sure. So,
yeah, and I just wanted to, because I know that down the path, 55th Street, we could argue that all day, right? But I agree, is that once it's an established trail for 20 years, it remains.
Right.
And so I don't want it to be there,
Mhm.
and then it's there forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why I wanted to address it, so,
Yeah.
Good,
so,
we'll see you next month.
perfect, sounds great, and I'll bring some more information for you,
Okay.
so.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Brett.
Yep, thank you guys,
You bet.
appreciate it.
Put Brett on the agenda.
I stopped down for
You're gonna stop? Okay. Anybody else? No? revisit and enforce the current policy for building permits expiring 1 year after insurance issuance if the project has not been completed or otherwise extended.
So my thoughts on that whole deal is if you get a building permit, you got a year to finish it. And if you don't, you reapply and pay the fee again. And she assesses it at whatever it's valued at after a year. If they don't, this construction for years thing has got to come to an end. In my opinion, we can't have people. We just can't have people. I talked to Christina, we've got somebody that moved a house out onto a foundation. They wanna finish it when their kids graduate and move out there. So it's been under construction for 5 years. You keep checking on it longer. I say the building permit is closed, it's assessed at that value and it's a done deal. When you're actually gonna do the work, reapply. That's my opinion. That's our policy, is they're good for 1 year. And if you don't get the construction done, you reapply to finish the construction.
I agree with that 100%.
I just think we have to start, that came into light and was a big, whatever. I'm not gonna get into all the bull crap, but.
Well, there needs to be some enforcement on, so you don't have a bunch of half-finished projects all over the country.
Right.
I mean, it's one thing to have one or two of them drag out a little longer than you expect, but you don't need no 10-year,
You comply or you pay.
10 years to put your baseboard on.
Well, right, I mean, that's where at some point you just.
I just think, after 1 year, they go to Christina, she assesses them the way they sit, and that's it.
Well, I think the biggest thing too is if you're gonna allow for renewal, just because let's just say something takes 14 months, you still gotta maybe allow that, but I'd say you can only allow one renewal.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm
the
okay.
limit would be like.
And I'm okay with that, just that, I just wanna get away from people that.
Yep.
If you think you're gonna hold on to a building permit because your taxes are gonna show it's under maintenance or whatever else, cause you didn't put baseboard on or hang 10 pieces of sheetrock, forget it.
Well, the problem too is the longer you delay it, it starts to get lost in the weeds. And then you get a different tax assessor, then you get a different, the next thing you know, you have this property that's, and then the neighbors are mad because this guy's only paying $100 and well, it's still under construction. Well, like you said, you gotta have some, otherwise what happens, then you get a new assessor, they start discovering these things and now they're flipping out because their taxes went triple in a year. Well, that's because for the last 10 years, you were paying the construction rate because nobody had assessed.
That's our policy.
Right.
It's good for a year, you need it renewed, you can have one renewal after that, which is
Right,
also
I
good
think you
for
have
a
to
year.
specify that you just get one renewal and if you don't have it done in 2 years.
Do it for a whole year?
Yeah, I would say a year.
I mean,
but
2
after that-
years is not unreasonable
No,
for a
since COVID, it really is
project.
not
I mean, 2
unreasonable.
years, but 2 years is long though. Like I'd say
It is.
after 2 years, it's,
Yeah.
it's time to assess it for what it is.
But there are people that build their own houses and it can take 2 years, I know that people.
Well, it could take 16 months kind of deal, where
Yeah,
they might need another half a year yet, I'm fine, or you run into weather interruptions, but like I said, anything over 2 years, there's something going on, like it just needs to get sorted out.
Yeah, it happened, even, let's say it happened with deal down in South Dakota, the same deal. Somebody passed, it said that you had to reapply for a new permit.
Yeah.
And you pay the dues.
Yeah.
Period, they don't
It's
care.
just some stuff we can clear up that makes life easier and nobody can question
Mhm.
stuff, and that's our policy, I mean, that's what's in the ordinances, that's what they're good for. Just
And
makes
our
life-
permit fees are very, very reasonable.
So can I just
Go ahead, Christina.
ask, when you say assess it at the full value as if it was fully built?
As is.
Well,
Cause they are assessed as is.
Okay, and that's fine, then they're no longer under construction, you just assess it as is, if it's needs to work or whatever, or they're not living in it or whatever. I mean, you would assess it at the full value, yes. I mean,
Okay,
unless it's like a
currently
shell of a
though-
house set on a foundation, and they're gonna fix it up in 5 years or whatever, well, we close the building permit, and you assess a shell of a house on a foundation, whatever. You know what I mean? Like what it would be.
That's pretty much how it is done.
Okay,
You
and that's
you
fine.
draw in the square footage
But then
and
take the construction part of it off, that's,
that's how you get to that lower value. though.
well, we don't want it at the lower value, we want them to finish their houses,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know,
So
I
if
don't know,
they're
you have to
halfway-
check in if you can do it specifically that way, but I don't know, I mean, I agree with you though, cause I mean, these half-done projects, and they're all over.
Yeah.
Every town's got a couple of them, and the problem is they eventually lead to the other problem we have, right? Which is eventually if they don't finish them too, then they start going back on taxes, they got, if you're not enforcing one thing, it like bleeds into these other
Yeah.
things, and now you have this like half remodeled gutted house that's not worth anything, that everybody quit paying the taxes on, and then now we're tearing it down, and all because you don't enforce these policies, you know?
It makes you get things done.
Well,
That's what your goal
I mean,
is.
we've been questioned on some policies, and this is one of the policies, and I just think we need to tighten it up, and that's just one less question, and somebody can come back on us.
Okay, I just wanna make,
Yep,
get it clarified how
Yep.
this is gonna work, okay. Say somebody is building a house at the end, it's gonna be worth $100,000. But after 2 years, they've only finished it 50% of the way. So what I would typically have in the system is, it's a $100,000 bill with 50% obsolescence. So that, construction obsolescence, so that as they finished it, I would take off obsolescence. So to bill it as $100,000 house or $50,000 house?
well, you have to build it at 50,000 what it's worth,
Okay.
but they're no longer listed under construction, it's completed at $50,000. I mean, however you can mark it as, okay, this has been 2 years now, their building permit either needs to be renewed or whatever to finish this. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe we're looking at this
If
wrong,
it's not, you're looking at it different, aren't you?
maybe.
Only because I've been doing this way, so I'm trying to
Right,
figure
cause
it
I was
out.
gonna say, we might end up causing more problems than we solve here with this with Christina, maybe there's some kind of a, like a penalty or something for not having it done by the time of that.
To push you to get it done.
Well, I'm just saying, like, there's gotta be an avenue for enforcement with this stuff, we can't be the only entity that's ever had an issue with building permits, so what's the resolution? Like, that's what I'm curious about too, you know, cause I like where you're at, I just, like I said, I don't know if you can tax someone on a $400,000 property.
Well, and I
that's
don't
what we
think,
have
I don't
done,
know if
so.
we can either, and I'm not
Right.
necessarily saying that we do
No,
that.
you're saying we should do something though, and that I
Yeah,
agree with.
yeah.
I totally
I
agree
just-
with you. I
yeah.
know where you're coming from.
I am
dude.
saying, I'd like to get it closed out,
We-
and
we
you
might
either
be,
finish it, or
yeah.
there you sit with a half-finished house, but it's completed in our eyes, now you can either reapply to refinish it,
Yeah.
or whatever, that's your house you're living in.
There's gotta be some kind of a remedy or penalty or something, because otherwise, like, what would ever drive anybody to finish their building permits? Other than, obviously, people take permits out to finish properties,
Right.
but not everybody does.
Right.
We know that, we found that.
Yeah.
So what are maybe some of these other counties, these highly developed counties that maybe run into this more than we have too, where not everybody goes out and finishes their project on time? What's the remedy? What
Yeah.
are they running into? Like,
Maybe we should do some digging. on
well,
the
I think that would be very good, because there's gotta be some form, cause I can just tell you one thing, like, when I take out things like septic permits and stuff like that, like, there's boundaries you have to follow. Like, if you don't follow this stuff, you are forced to remove the system.
won't
A
you?
bit, huh?
And they'll make you remove it.
Well, whatever, you put it in the wrong spot, they'll make you move it, then that's where, like, with these building permits, there's gotta be some kind of recourse where it's like, after 2 years, this isn't done, it's like, well, maybe you
we're
can condemn it, maybe you can, I don't know.
We're having an issue with the city of Linton the same way, we've got people that wanna take out building permits but aren't finishing their other building permits, and we're not giving them building permits because they aren't finishing the first ones we gave them, so we have people that are basically banned from building permits.
Well, I mean, maybe you,
But we need to come up with some kind of a penalty too.
maybe you can condemn it if it's not finished after the building permit, like, or so, I don't know, like, there's
Yeah.
gotta be.
Well, maybe,
There's
this
gotta
would
be
be a
a-
good call for like a Bismarck, what a larger municipality does in this instance, you know, a Burley County. What do you do when you,
I'm gonna find out.
I can work on calling around and.
do you mind doing that, just to find out what everybody else, I mean, what some of the other places, and not necessarily all
With a
like
permit, but he died.
Burley County and Cass County, but I'm curious like what a McLean County with a Washburn and a Wilton and those guys, I'm curious.
Well, I don't have a problem with a Burley or Cass, this
Yeah,
is residential development.
Yeah, I don't either, but I'm just saying, if you want to, you could check out a county without a larger city, kind of comparable to us too,
Well,
but
and
I'm
I'll-
curious what like a Burley County and a Bismarck do.
I'll
What
tell
does
you right now.
Linton do on a building permit?
We don't do nothing, we need to figure something else out too.
Well,
What do you charge on a building permit? If I can,
Well, it depends, like, I think,
based on the
up to
value.
5,000 is free, and then 5 to 10 is $25, and 10 to 25 or 24,999 is 50, and then anything over 25,000 to 50 or 75 is $75, and then I think anything over 100 is $100, and I think that's the max.
So we don't charge a ton.
I know, but I'm just telling you, the part of living in like Emmons County is, right, you like it that it's not Bismarck and it's not Fargo.
Yeah.
But then these kinds of things come up now,
Yeah.
where people are forcing your hand to be like, hey, we're gonna have to be more restrictive. I mean, even like beaver and cattail, the reason why the restrictions aren't that strict is because everybody was like, well, just kind of let them do what they want. Well, now it's becoming a problem. Now all of a sudden people coming in, now they're mad at their neighbors and they're doing all this crap, so now you're forced to, I mean, we're gonna have to get stricter on some of this stuff, and it's all it's gonna do is increase the heavy hand of government, because these folks can't get along.
Linton is using Bismarck for some things. We've had some people living in homes without water, without running water. Their pipes had burst, they didn't fix them. So they had no sewer because they couldn't flush their toilet or water. They were using buckets of water to flush their toilet, basically. So we went to Burley County to look up their ordinances and find out what happens when you don't have certain living standards in a home, what they do. So, I mean, sometimes you have to turn to these bigger places that deal with it all the time and came up with policies and ordinances for it, so. I'm not necessarily saying, I'm not necessarily saying we're wrong going to Bismarck. I think Bismarck has good ordinances for the most part. You're right, we're not Bismarck, but we do need to lean on some of the stuff that
I
they
can
do.
get a consensus like I did when I got
Yeah.
the new rates for the charging per parcel for the city.
Just curious to push some of this stuff along, so we don't have permits sitting out and we can't get fingers pointed at us because whatever.
Because we're not doing our job.
Well, it's an ordinance that, we have an ordinance out there for it, that they're good for a year, we're just gonna make sure we're enforcing that ordinance. You poke the bear and then the bear wants to growl a little bit, but we're gonna enforce the ordinances to make sure that they're being done.
Well, nobody wants rules until they're shipping containers.
Yeah.
Nobody wants rules till there's too many four-wheelers, now, and then all of a sudden the rules start coming out, so.
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Earlier, the four-wheelers in the ditches.
That's right, now you can't even ride there, you know, it's like, so.
Yeah. No, I'd appreciate that, Christina, if you're willing to do that and report back next month, that'd be awesome.
We can do that.
Perfect.
Thanks,
Thank you very
Christina.
much.
Any other questions?
No.
I appreciate you doing that.
Anything else, guys?
Miscellaneous.
Replat, okay, miscellaneous, replat of lots 1 and 2 of tract A and A, replat of lots 2 and 4 of tract A.
That's right down here, same area. They're essentially taking 3 lots, splitting one of them and then making it 2 lots. And their size is fine, meets and bounds were good. I see no issues with this one. Planning and zoning committee agreed.
What part is this at?
Where's it?
It's right south of his place there, so you go down.
Oh,
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that group,
Cattail, okay.
yeah, that group down there. Yeah, so they're just replatting these 3 lots and then splitting this one here and selling it off. So essentially it'd be 2 lots, 2 bigger lots instead of 3
Oh,
smaller lots.
So everything looks fine?
does everything look good?
Looks good.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Vanderwerst makes a motion to accept item 1 to replat. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Mr. Gardner, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item 2, building permit for Tony Fleming to build a 60 by 48 storage unit on lots 205 and 206 of Beaver Bay Walther Scenic Properties, Lakeview 2, Section 23, Township 132, Range 79.
Basically, the zoning planning board.
You guys,
Approved
you
it.
guys went through all these?
They're all approved.
Not all of them.
Huh?
Not all of them.
Not all?
Oh, not all of
Well,
it.
okay,
Which,
Which ones were?
we're talking about this.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that'll way Miller, catch him.
Okay, so this one was good.
Oh, yeah, push it.
Up here.
This one's fine?
Yeah, I can pull it up if you want, but, yep, they hadn't started yet, setbacks were good.
Tony Fleming, okay?
I'll let him show you so you can at least get a bird's eye view.
Is there a motion to accept the building permit for Tony Fleming? Mr. Miller, second.
Second.
Vanderhorst, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item 3, building permit for Dave German to build a 60 by 20-foot garage on lot 9 of Beaver Bay, subdivision section 23, township 132, range 79.
Setback was good, we're going off of 15 feet from the side, maybe 25 feet from this is a steep hill right here.
He's tight.
His house is about that from the
That's
line too.
tight. Do you know where it's at?
Yeah, it's Kurt
Yeah,
Zayer's
it's
old
cut in right
Who's?
there.
It's Kurt Zayer's old property
Oh,
in there,
okay.
right next to, that's Joe Better next to
Yep,
him there.
yep.
That is, that's steep, that's,
Yeah, that's a big
that's
hill right
mountain goat territory over there, that's.
Mountain goat there.
It is, up them trees and all that,
That's a nice
that's a
area.
hill, but yeah, it's awesome, cause you're not gonna have any neighbors behind you, you can't.
Don't fall off the cliff.
Yeah, don't trim it,
Whoa,
so
whoa,
you'll
whoa.
roll all the way to
Okay,
the
go
river.
to, item 4. I didn't know that he had a place out there, Gary. Is there a motion to accept the building permit for Dave German?
Yeah.
Mr. Miller,
Second,
second by Magrum, all in favor?
aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carried.
Ron Dyke said he's just checked out number 8 and 9 without permits, so.
Come on, seriously?
Seriously. Alan Sargent told me he should be out there, he was waiting to get some meds at the pharmacist, he should be out there here shortly, so.
So how many did you check?
8 or 9?
Eight, and number 8 and number 9.
And then none of them have permits?
Are they supposed to be in this place?
Ron's paying for his dinner today.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow.
Alan said if they don't have permits, when I get out there, they're not getting unloaded, so.
No, they shouldn't be unloaded, any of them, they should all be
I
sitting
don't
there,
think
yeah.
they're getting stopped without, he must have been sick, he had to go to the doctor, he's been at the doctor all day, so he must be.
Stress, stress.
Yeah, he's gonna be real sick.
Item 4, building permit for Gary Sanders to pour a 52 by 40 concrete slab in an existing storage building on section 17, township 132, range 76.
That's his shop out
He's
down
on his
there
shop.
by his house.
Is that where it's at?
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve that.
Mr. Gartner makes a motion, second by who?
Yeah.
Miller? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item 5, building permit for Donald and Rhonda Ferguson to replace windows on the residence located on the east half of the northeast quarter, the southeast quarter, less 3.75 acres road, section 11, township 134, range 79.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. 6, building permit for Cameron Fish to move in a double-wide mobile home in the northeast quarter of section 4, township 129, 70s, range 77.
This was kind of, sort of denied.
It was denied.
He said no for septic system.
Contingent after I talked to him, and I talked to him, he was confused, and I can kind of see that, I think we can consider maybe changing how it's worded. It just says septic system, comma, yes or no. So he's like, I didn't have one, so I put no, so he is putting one in himself, so I told him to contact Western Plains, so it should say yes. I mean, we might word it as, are you installing a septic
Yeah.
system, you know?
Is that on Dale Fish's yard?
Cameron Fisher's.
I know, but Cameron thinks the kid is.
Yeah, not on the yard.
We had Kim come sign it, because Kim's name is on it.
Yeah,
So
okay.
Cameron's not on, so
Okay.
Kim did sign at the bottom of it. So
I
yeah,
think they're not-
it is septic system, he was confused
Is
about
he
it.
gonna put it on the yard?
No, he's putting it up by the road there.
That's
right?
what I
Yeah,
thought,
they're-
I've seen flags and,
Yeah, no, actually. he's
Yeah,
putting it
it's,
up there.
okay.
hold on, what's the township?
So is it okay?
Yeah,
Township one
it's,
thirty.
his setbacks were good, I got it. Yeah, it's going right around,
Yeah.
right off the road, so.
I've seen some, boy, he needs a house.
Cause they just planted some trees, like west of here, but,
Yep.
yeah, so it's going up in there.
I'll make a
Is there a
motion.
motion? Mr. Gartner makes a motion to accept it.
I'll second.
Second by Vanderhorst, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item 7, gaming center authorization for the Lincoln Lions Club. Yeah. Is there a motion to accept?
Motion.
Gartner? Second.
One
Vanderhorst,
or the other.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Number 8, reappoint Wayne Ely to the Planning and Zoning Commission. What do you mean reappoint? Where was he at?
He just got reelected to the city council.
Yeah, his term was up on the city council, I'm sure, so I just get reappointed.
I don't know if he wants to be on or not, maybe somebody should ask him, I think he's okay with staying.
Yeah, he told me.
He is okay.
Well, you can reappoint him, you can always deny it, he doesn't want it at least, so I make the motion to reappoint Wayne Ely to the.
And it'll be for a
Planning and
4-year
Zoning
term
Commission.
then,
Mr. Magrum makes a motion to reappoint Wayne Ely. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Second by Gartner, all in favor? Aye, opposed, motion carried. Sounds like it's.
We need to approve this preliminary budget though, correct, Marlos?
Well, you need to tell me what to do.
Right.
We need to.
I don't know what to put in the budget.
Oh, as far
Zeros
as,
across the board.
Just all zeros.
as far as,
Easy. I'd be done.
Well, I guess I feel like
no,
like I
Russ,
had mentioned earlier, I think there are some people that, didn't move very well yet last year that stuck with us, and I think those things we can revisit, but I think for the sake of a cost of living, I felt like 3% was in line,
well,
It's a 3% COLA straight across the
straight
road.
across the board. And then
Russ.
any other people that we feel like, maybe deserve a step, we can always address that, that's kind of, something that we can fix in a month or two, but I think a good starting point is a 3% COLA, in my opinion. I mean,
Well,
she's
you
gotta
have to make,
something.
you probably have to make some of those adjustments, cause you can't raise the budget after you approve the preliminary. You can lower it, but you cannot
But you
raise it.
can't raise no longer, right?
Yep, that's the point of the preliminary, it's as high as it's gonna be, so
Oh,
if you're gonna make any changes, I mean, there's probably some variation with some of the budgets, like with the employees, I mean, I don't know. Maybe a specific wage, but if you're gonna make an adjustment to, let's just say 4 or 5 employees, and you start having an annual difference of,
You could change it in August if I get the preliminary budget done. You could change it in August, and then we have our preliminary budget meeting hearing in September. So I'd have to change the budget again for the September, then after September, you can't
Right.
raise it.
well, do the notices still go out?
Pardon me?
Did the notices
No,
still,
no.
that changed, right?
That changed, and
Okay.
there's no more notice.
So I was gonna say, it used to be, you always had to approve it like now, and then you'd send them notices out, and you couldn't change it after that, you
No,
could
now
lower
we
it.
have to put,
Okay.
now we have to send a budget hearing notice out to everybody.
Okay,
So that, if we do that, like in, let's say we would have our budget hearing in September 8th. You could change the preliminary budget yet in August, and then we can go through it again in September if you want.
Excuse me, Russ just texted me. Couple more just showed up without permits.
I said
Stop them
yes.
from unloading, right? I said yes.
And told him I'm telling him Ellen Sargent should be out there shortly.
Gee,
This sort of shit.
something else.
Like I said, I don't know, I'm just looking at some numbers from last year, some of the guys that took it, there are some guys that didn't make 2% increases, there was a couple guys that didn't even make a 0.5% increase, but they were new. That was the road department here in the courthouse, there were several people that were under 2%. I mean, I just think, I would've, last year was kind of a show, a mess, the
It
whole
was a
deal, and
mess.
I felt like
It was a
there were
mess.
guys that didn't get a COLA, and we probably should have had a COLA, and my thoughts were, we're gonna rectify that with some of these people that really stuck it out and didn't get anything. And we just gotta make sure to do some type of a COLA. And I guess if we can't really move it around, then I guess maybe we start at 5 and work our way from there, but.
5 what?
Well, 5% COLA, if we can't go down, or can't go up, I hate to start way too low,
I don't think you're too low at a 3% COLA. Because you're costing your health insurance benefits and all, 18 to 20%
yeah,
increase.
I know.
Just keep that in mind. I mean,
Well,
I'm
I
not
keep
trying
that,
to short
I keep
anybody.
that, I keep that in mind every day, and that's,
I don't wanna short nobody, but it's just, remember how beneficial these benefits are.
that's right.
Because, oh man. And I know you don't make friends sitting on the board when you make a statement like that, but
Well, some of there was some.
You got enough friends anyway.
I don't need it, I don't want it anymore.
You don't need it.
Get something then. I think 3% is reasonable.
I think,
You know, especially like you said, you're gonna see a significant increase to the health insurance premiums. And, you know, a lot of places, you know, they do 80%,
yeah,
90%, you know, I mean, it's not unheard of.
that
The
all.
100%'s always been a recruiting tool, and I think it's good, and I think people respect it, and I think
It's like 75, 25.
There's a lot.
and I
of
think
guys
they're good
that are making
employees, I
adjustments to this.
don't think it's a bad system, but I think you can weigh that against like the cost of living, because again, if you would go with a 5% COLA and then ask them to pay 10% of their health insurance, it would be a net loss, you know what I mean, so I think you can definitely lower your expectations on a cost of living increase when we're already accepting a cost of living increase on health insurance.
Absolutely.
Big one.
I think,
So where do we lie on, like, I said, I think there's some people that, I would like to go through the list of people from last year, and I think there are some
It's
people
right
that
here, if you
deserve.
look at your sheet here.
No, I'm saying, no, if we don't do anything right now, there are people